Good Monday morning to my friends. Hey guys, do you like the title of my get ready with me today? So we my podcast, The Dating Detectives, we dropped the part 2 of the Farmers Only episode, and I'm legit stoked. Like, first of all, I want to say that this guest who told this story, like, what a crazy story. If you don't listen to the podcast, if you're anything into true crime, you should really listen to it. But it was really good. So basically last week was part 1, and this week is part 2 of, like, we called it Farmers Only because it was a woman who met a guy on the Farmers Only, like, dating site, which that's a lot of what we talk about on the podcast is, like, dating and dating apps and things that happen, like bad things that happen, right? So when we first started this podcast, we were talking about, like, just like the format of it and, you know, how it's going to look or whatever, which is why the first couple episodes were, like, dumb, because Hannah and I didn't know each other. Molly's our producer, and she found both of us, like, separately. And so, well, she found me and asked me if I wanted a podcast, and I'm like, I thought she was full of baloney. But anyways, and so then she found Hannah. So Hannah and I didn't know each other, and Hannah and I are two different people. Like, Hannah is, like, 29. She's from LA, like, very, like, they're very liberal, very feminist, very, like, when you say lettuce on your burger, it's like grass. Like, that's a whole different culture. And me, I'm a 1984 baby, so I'm gonna be 40 this year. Like, I'm Southern, so I'm in Florida, and, like, our culture, we're just so different as far as our age and our perspectives on things. And, you know, she's dating, I'm married, like, twice, like, you know, I'm a mom, she's not. So I'm a private investigator, she's a comedian. So we have two different backgrounds, two totally different perspectives. And so when you listen to the first couple episodes of my podcast, The Dating Detectives, it sounds bad. Like, we were not meshing very well at all. And then we got to know each other, and we're like, oh, okay. Kayla, the podcast is called The Dating Detectives. You just go to Spotify, wherever. If you go to my stories, I did a cowboy video. I've never listened to country music a day in my life. And one time, last year, I bought cowboy boots just because they were neon and cool. Anyways, yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Music Podcast, Amazon Podcast, whatever. You can listen to it for free anywhere. And then we have, like, the Patreon, which is like $5 a month. And we have several thousand subscribers on the Patreon, which is really cool. But anyways, did you meet oh my God, you met someone on Farmers Only? Ah! Listening to this morning broadcast, I just can't, but like your girl said, she is here talking to us. She is okay. Yeah, well, thank you for listening to the podcast. So, yeah, she's okay. She was able to tell her story very, very bravely. And when they talk to us on the podcast, like, usually their story is, it's very, like, it's hard for them, right? A lot of times they say, wow, like, I hadn't really, like, talked the whole thing through before. And so, you know, once they do that, they're like, this was really cathartic and now I can let it go or whatever. But Taylor is the superstar. Absolutely. I better never be single again because I'll never date again. Girl, same. If either one of us is ever single in the future, we're just going to date each other because literally these folks out here are freaking wild. So, you guys have to, oh my gosh. If you are a little bit of a true crime junkie, you have to listen. But even if you're not, it's not gory. Like, we don't talk about murder and stuff like a lot of true crime podcasts. But we are one of the top true crime podcasts on Spotify and many of the other apps. Like, we have a private manager at Spotify. Like, we're kind of big news. Like, we're coming up in the true crime world. So our podcast is really good. And like I said, it's not super, like, murder and stuff like that. But we kind of call it, like, true crime light. So anyways, we talk about, like, not only the dating world. I know it's the dating detectives, but it's basically like, they're still married. Oh my God. Hey, Maggie. It's a cesspool. When I was dating my husband 7 years ago, I was like, it was misery. It was awful. And, like, oh my God, it was awful. So it was terrifying. Anyways, so I never want to do that again. But anyway, so our podcast is called The Dating Detectives, but it's really just about like scandal and lies and con men in the world of like relationships and dating. And we talk a lot about dating apps. Like my husband and I, thank you so much. That's what we want. So, we're going to turn lesbian. That's what I said. If I have to date one more time, it's going to be a woman. Like, I'm going to date a woman. Bye, Polly Queen. Hey, girl. Hey, it's so good to see you. This is what we need on the podcast. We need more guys on the podcast because we have a lot of women that they're telling their story. But we don't get a lot of guys telling their story. On the Patreon episode that comes out Wednesday, there is a guy who it's a catfish story, not really dogfish. But anyways, we tell stories of people that are either dating or met someone or married someone or even worked with someone or had friendships with someone who was totally lying about who they were. So when we were first talking about a format for the podcast, we were like, it's not catfish because these aren't like people that you're meeting online and it's like a 50-year-old man pretending to be like a 20-year-old woman. These are people that are like, I have so many poly dating stories. Oh my God. We're gonna get together, you and I. I want to hear more. I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear from all walks of life. I want to hear from men. I want to talk about, I want to hear from, polyamorous people. I want to hear from homosexual relationships. I want to hear about literally everything. Like, I don't want it to be just like, women hating on men. Like, that is absolutely, although I do support women and I think that it is common, for women to tell their stories. I think that a lot of guys aren't telling their story and we're not quite sure why. So we'd like to hear more from guys. I was romance scammed by a guy in Ireland. Lorraine, why don't we know this? Why aren't you guys emailing this stuff to the podcast? Y'all need to message me right now. We want more diversity so bad. We've been saying, like, we want to be a platform for everybody to share their story. I feel like it's so very a straight man and a straight woman get in a relationship and he breaks her heart. Like, he lies to her somehow. And that's very, very common. And I'm sure it's more common because I think that's probably the more common type of relationship. But I want to share that this isn't something that just happens to women. This happens to everybody. And so that's what I want to share. We did have a guest on. His name was Dirk, and he was in a homosexual relationship. He's a gay man, and he was scammed by this guy, financially. How would I know if you guys get my email? Would you please text me, send it to the show, because Molly gets it, but text me and DM me and just say, hey, I sent an email. Can you make sure you got it or whatever? My friend got to try Farmers Only, and it was insane. I need to know more. I need to know more about this Farmers Only and other niche dating sites. There was one where you can date you could date married people or other married people or whatever. I need to know all the stories. He didn't think I would take it this far. Oh my God, are you serious? Tell her the email to send it in. Amanda, shut up. I don't know the email. Hold on. I think it's, do you know the email? Hold on. Amanda, you're so rude. She makes fun of me because if you listen to the podcast at the end, I'm like, here's the email if you want to email us. And I never know the email address because it's I don't know if you put the word hold on. And now Amanda has to call me out. She's one of my best friends. I love her. It's investigate@thedatingdetectivespodcast.com. I was on Farmers Only. Oh my God! I was showing my friend and she said, I thought this was Farmers Only, not Felons Only. Oh my God! You guys, you have to, hold on. I'm screen recording this so that when I get off of here, I can go back through and look at these because I'm gonna message every single one of you and I need you guys to tell us. I need you guys to tell me more. So if you don't want to talk to me, then just ignore my message. But I need to know more. I visit you. You're so funny. So anyways, to answer your question. So I was on TikTok. So my TikTok kind of went viral before my Instagram did. And Molly was a reality TV show producer in LA. She reached out to me and she said, hey, I've always wanted to, I love your excitement. Oh, thank you. This is base level. I don't do coffee. Like, this is legit my energy. Oh, and I'm going to do makeup while we're chatting. So I'm just going to put, if you want to get a color match, like, I'm just going to put it here. There's hella city boys on there in my area. Oh, they trying to lie. So Molly finds me and she says, hey, do you want to do a podcast? I've always wanted to work with a private investigator on a podcast. And, I was like, yeah, right. Like, I thought she was full of baloney. Like, I was like, yeah, right. And then she came through with like a contract and like a lawyer and all these things. And like my lawyer talked to her lawyer and I was like, no way. And it was for real. And then she found Hannah, who is a comedian. She found her on TikTok also. Excuse me. And then we all connected. And then it was just like, it just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of cool. Text me. Excuse me. I'm drinking a protein shake, so I got some burpees. I'm really sorry, you guys. I'm disgusting. There's also a stain, like, in the middle of the seat of my chair. It's not poop, but it's, like, brown. I can't figure out what it was, and I think it was, like, maybe my cream illuminator or something. But anyways, it's just, like, it's, like, this big, and I can't figure out what that is, so, but, like, I'm disgusting. But it's fine. It's not poop, I swear. I just don't know what it is. Oh, the Barbie float. Thank you. Wasn't it so cute? I did a 5-part series on my horrible poly relationship. Oh my God, I need to hear it. I'm going back through here and I'm going to follow up with these. So you guys better be prepared to share on my Instagram page. Oh my gosh. I need you to share it on the podcast. You guys have to share these stories. Like, well, also, if you didn't hear the OnlyFans pimp episode, so there was an OnlyFans pimp episode. It was a 2-parter, and there was these 2 women who came on, and they were telling their story about this guy that they met. They're in their early 20s, and he was in his 30s, but he was not like, he was not. Wait, I'm too honest. I'm an oversharer. So these 2 girls came on the podcast and they were talking about how they were in their early 20s and this guy was in his 30s, but they didn't know for sure. Like, that's just what he told them anyways. And so one of the girls told her story first, and then on the second part, the other girl tells her story. Come to find out, the guy was cheating on the one, but they were doing OnlyFans, but nothing like crazy sexual or whatever. And then he came on and was like, hey, listen, you need to do more of this, and we're going to do some OnlyFans together. And come to find out, after sharing their story, we realized that this guy was literally pimping them out on OnlyFans, like, he was lying to them. He was fraudulently getting them to do these things. And then he was saying, I'll be your manager and I'll split half the cost. Like, that's called pimping. Like, when you know what I mean? So anyways, so it was really crazy. And it was like, other women, since hearing the podcast, have come forward and they're like, oh my God, I think I'm dating that guy. And I'm like, no freaking way. So anyways, it's a really good podcast. You guys have to listen to it. It's so good. We drop a new episode every Monday. And then if you're on the Patreon, it's $5 a month and you get 2 bonus episodes a month. And then we also do, hey, thanks girl. I'll get that color match form should come to you automatically. Yeah, on the Patreon, you get the updates too. You get the updates. Okay, listen real quick. I'm going to interrupt myself to tell you. This cream illuminator. Y'all got to use this first. Look at this pretty glow it gives. Anyways, if you're not using this makeup, you have to. Seems to make it look at times that I have just a caked look. Kim, will you text me? I just posted this in my beauty group on Facebook. If you're not in my beauty group on Facebook, please join it. It's Freedom in Beauty VIP. This makeup should never be cakey because you need literally, this should last you 6 to 9 months, like one little pan. So if you're cakey, it means you're using too much. And if you're using if your color is too light, then you'll probably use too much to get the coverage you need. So you probably need to shade up. And one trick with this makeup is if your foundation matches your skin, it is too light. It has to be a little bit darker. Cream illuminator makes me look greasy. Really? I like the glow that I like to put it under and then it kind of gives a glow like over. Yeah, so we have, hey girl, hey, are we dating the same guy? We get a lot of people from those pages messaging us because some of our guests even have said like, there was one episode, Pantygate, I think it was. The Pantygate episode where he was Are We Dating the Same Guy? But they have to be really careful on those because they're coming after a lot of those pages, like saying like that you can't post about other people. So like if you're dating this guy and he is the T app. Do I know about the T app? I don't know if I know about the T app. I gotta find it. What's the name of the group again? Oh, it's called Freedom in Beauty VIP. Make sure you type in the VIP because the other one's like a Facebook business page and I don't know how to work it. Nobody's in there. I don't know how to do it. But it's Freedom in Beauty VIP. There's like 11,000 women in there. Most of them are my customers, but I always post in there about this makeup. But you have to try this makeup. It's really light and pretty. This isn't like cakey liquid foundation. So if you are using this makeup and it's really cakey, there's way too much. But when I first got this makeup, I applied way too much because you don't realize that you really, really look dusting. Like it's a light dusting. Oh, good. Yeah, Kim, let me know because I'm always happy to help. And text me directly too because when you text me, that number, it literally comes directly to me and I'll help you troubleshoot stuff like your makeup. And also if you're not a Saint wearer and you just like makeup stuff or makeup tips, eyeshadow tips, stuff like that, you can go, I mean anybody can go in my beauty group, but it's I try to teach makeup for anybody. Is there a cheat sheet? Naomi, I am your cheat sheet. You literally have my text number. But yeah, I send you all that stuff, girl, don't worry. I help you with that. Oh, so the Claw. Oh my gosh. So your screen name, the Claw, do you know what it reminds me of? On Liar Liar, where the stepdad was going like, the Claw, the Claw. So funny. So if your skin is oily, this makeup has no alcohols in it. So when it sits on your skin, it doesn't like set, it doesn't evaporate. And so it just hydrates. So with oily skin, it's great because after about a week or so, your skin won't produce as much oil because it'll just be really hydrated already. So even when you take off your makeup, it'll be nice and hydrated. So a lot of dry skin customers, but also I was an oily girl too. And it took my skin from oily to normal and I don't break out anymore. Even when I have my period, I don't even break out. Like maybe one pimple, and I used to get them real bad right here. Like I have a bunch of acne scars from down there, but I'm new here. What's this about? Oh, so I was talking about my podcast called The Dating Detectives, and this week's episode is part 2 of the Farmers Only episode where we had a guest who was talking about meeting a man on Farmers Only, which, by the way, I'm in Florida and I live in a small town called Plant City. I named my helicopter in Iraq Pizza Planet. Oh, I love it. It's a Toy Story. I love it so much. I love Toy Story. That's one movie I will watch like all 4 of them in a row, and my son won't even be in the room. I just love it. My skin overall looks better, but I'm still oily. What do you use? What do you use for skincare? Like, how are you doing your skin? Anyway, so on my podcast, there was a woman who met a man on Farmers Only, and I'm someone who lives in a small town called Plant City in like Central Florida, and it is like country. Like there's a lot of country guys here, cowboys, which I think these guys are sexy, right? Like I think usually it's the, oh my God, you're in Lakeland. I grew up in Lakeland. No way. That's so cool. We should connect, Jackie. Send me a message. Anyway, so like most country guys or like farm boys are really like Southern, polite, like, yes, ma'am. No, and they just like chew their dip and spit it out. And that's how they talk here. Like it's legit. Like when I get mad at my son, my Southern accent comes out, right? But I've never like listened to country music. I'm not a country girl, whatever. And so I never thought to like go on Farmers Only when I was trying to date. So anyways, there was a woman who came on my podcast that was, she had met a man on Farmers Only, and that's what we were talking about. Is that today was part 2. Last week was part 1 of the episode, and today is part 2. And it's actually, they're all pretty good episodes. Like she tells her story really well, but it's like I can't imagine. I don't want to give anything away. You have to listen to the episode, but I can't imagine that happening. And the way she told her story so gracefully, and like the way that these people get scammed. Just the way that we as humans get scammed, the way that people are out here all willy-nilly just scamming people is crazy. Like, I just can't believe it. I'm a work comp adjuster. So many stories. Are you really, Jackie? Oh my gosh. So I work a lot with workers' comp adjusters as a PI, as you know. Do you by any chance work at Geico, the one in Lakeland? My cousin worked there. I don't know if you know. I was going to ask if you know her. I got you while you're live. So, oh, Brandy, you're so sweet. Thanks for being here. By the way, so I applied my main like foundation shade, but look how light it is. And you can still see my skin. And so this makeup, although it can be full coverage, like you can build it up, this is meant to be dimensional. So we're adding more colors instead of more layers. And you'll see at the end that like, you don't need the layers. And even if you have discoloration, I can help. My insane relationship experiences, 2 different boyfriends live double life. No way. First of all, Marissa, will you come on the podcast and share this? What are the chances? 2 different boyfriends? Girl, you need to share your story on the podcast. Yes, Josie. So Drop the Walls was in downtown Plant City. It closed now, but one of my best friends, Jen Warnke, she is really good friends with her. I don't personally know her, but she is friends with her. Let's see. Marissa, get on the podcast. Josie, are you from Plant City? Are you from this area? We can color match in person. Jackie, yes! You should come over sometime and we'll do a color match and we'll play makeups. I need to do my self-tan and have you color match me. I have an idea, but I duck at color matching. No, I got you, girl. I do self-tanner as well, and so there's usually like 2 or 3 different shades in my palette. Just shop her boutique. Oh, okay. Josie, is her boutique still online? Because I know it was in Plant City, but it closed down. Now it's a cat place or so, or like it's like a cat. I don't know what it is, but it's not there anymore. I want to say, like, literally never in my life have I meant ducking or duck. Like, never. It's always suck or the F word. Like, you suck, not you duck, ever. But Siri always thinks I mean duck, and that's just not the case. Okay, so, and then when I match you to these, you guys, you build your palette however you want. Like, I match you to the colors, and then these are just like, these are all magnetic. So you pick a palette size, you pick a palette color, and you pick your shades that you want in it, and then you pick a brush, and you build your Tetris, your palette however you want. You're in Ohio. I've been to Ohio one time. I don't care if I never go back. I didn't like it, but it was also the person I was with made it a bad experience. And then, so this is my main shade. I kind of dust it all over. It's really light. The contour is really light. And then now I'm going to add a brightening highlight. The store closed, but the online boutique is still going. Oh, good. Josie, I do really like that they have, a lot of boutiques now have the more inclusive sizes, like the bigger sizes. And of course, now that I'm finding more big sizes, now I've lost weight and have I can wear other sizes now. It sucks. I hate it here. Oh, come to Florida. I already need a bigger palette. I'm telling you, it's addictive. Like, you buy a couple shades and then you're like, okay, I need more. Just because it's fun. And it's like, it's customized to you, which is cool. Because there's no other makeup palettes that are like, every single shade is customized to you. Angelina, this is called Saint, S-E-I-N-T. And it's just a cream-based customized makeup. So this is a direct sales company that's really small. It's still kind of new. But this was e-commerce for a little while, and then they turned it into direct sales because Sephora was being a meanie boo-boo head and wanted to change all the ingredients, and Sephora wanted to sell this makeup so bad, and they're like, we can change the ingredients, like do it cheaper and sell it for more, and she's like, nah, dog. And so she had no choice but to make it direct sales so that she could have it the way she wanted. Anyway, so it's really cool. You just it's like an online retail store. You just purchase like through me. Like, I am the Sephora for you. I will be your store. And then I color match you. So I've been selling this makeup for like 2.5 years. This has been my sole income for a year. Well, not my sole. I mean, I still do some PI stuff, but this is my full-time income for 1.5 years now. It's really, really good makeup. And I don't know, just everybody who tries it is like, holy crap, I thought it was going to be stupid, which me too. Did you guys know that, by the way? Like, when okay, so let's talk about the Farmers Only is referring to my podcast, The Dating Detectives, which a producer found me on TikTok because I started selling this makeup that I thought was stupid because I've been a makeup junkie for a while. And my makeup always looked horrible, but I didn't know that. Like, I was like, cakey makeup, but it's perfect, so it's fine. Now I look at before and afters, and I'm like, holy God, it's horrible. Anyways, so I saw this makeup, and I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've literally ever seen. And then I started, like, talking to people about it. They're like, I want it. So then people started buying this makeup from me, and I'm like, huh, all right, there's something to this, right? And so anyway, so I started posting online, which I didn't have any social media 2.5 years ago. Like I had 71 friends on Facebook, and that's it. That was the extent of my social media. Well, I started posting on TikTok, and I started sharing about my PI stories. And the only reason I didn't share about my PI stories ever in my life was because my professor in college told me, you'll never make it as a PI because you're a girl. That's a man's industry. So I always thought it's not something I should be doing. So I always had like this disbelief. So then I was trying to sell this makeup, and I was like, well, I'm competitive. So I was like, well, I want to sell more makeup than anybody else. What can I do different? And so I just started sharing about my life, my career, my whatever. And as soon as I started talking about PI stories, everybody became interested in the PI stories. And then I would do my makeup while I'm talking about PI stories. And then people were like, oh my gosh, what's that makeup? And I was like, I'm onto something. And so it's cool when you can, like, you know, connect with someone over something cool, which are like my two passions, which are like private investigation, which is ultimately was something that led me to a Great Depression because you're isolated, you're doing surveillance, whatever, but I'm still really good at it and I still love the job. And then makeup, which also became something. Anyways, that's the only reason that I started posting on social media, which is how Molly found me on TikTok, because my TikTok, Megs, thank you. My TikTok blew up because I was telling the PI stories. She's like, I've always wanted to work with a private investigator. I've been working on a podcast, and you know, I've wanted to find a perfect PI, whatever. So then it's like everything kind of blew up the way that it was, which led to now we've been doing the podcast for a year now. We just celebrated our one year anniversary of our very first episode, which was trash. Last week we recorded like a disclaimer and talking that we could put at the beginning of the very first episode, because more and more people are finding our podcast and they're binging it. So they're starting from episode 1. So we recorded a disclaimer, and I basically said, this episode is trash. Like, we had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know each other. So if you listen to this episode, so if you go back to Dating Detectives, my podcast, and you go back to episode 1, going forward, there's going to be a disclaimer that says this episode is garbage. We didn't know what we were doing. But then a couple episodes in, like 3, 4, 5 episodes in, it gets a little better. Now there's 52 episodes, and it's been amazing. And you'll love it if you like any amount of true crime. And so now I do podcast and makeup and private investigation. There's also some of my PI stories on there, so I think you'll really like it. Okay, so this is the makeup, my main shade, my brightening highlight, my contour. I will match you to all of these. You just, instead of layering all your makeup, you just kind of put the colors kind of where they go. You can do it many different ways. Do it however you want. Amanda, go listen to it. Tell me what you think. Like, we've come a long way. We were a shit show. Like, I'm not even going to watch my mouth on that one. Like, we were a shit show. Mina, it's called The Dating Detectives. And it's a pretty good, it's a really good podcast, and it's bingeable. Like, it's something that's like every week is a new episode. Sometimes it's me telling my stories of, like, you know, private investigation and something. I think it's like once a month or once or twice a month or whatever. And then the other episodes are guests that come on and talk about the con men and the scams. I don't know if you saw, if you follow my Instagram, and you'll see the video where I posted, do you know who Brian is or something? There was a whole story about, like, this guy named Brian and this woman who looked over his shoulder on an airplane and saw that he was talking to his wife, but then he downloaded Tinder or something, and then he was talking to this girl on Tinder, and then she made it her whole mission to, like, try and find his wife, and it was like a whole big thing. Anyway, so the con men, the scams, the narcissists, the abusers, the sex traffickers, like all of these guys that we are, like, I say guys because it's a lot of women who tell their story on our podcast, but we really want men to kind of share more also. I feel like that was the one thing I was really worried about too, was when people started listening to our podcast. Thank you so much. We've had so much fun with the podcast. This is my bronzer, by the way. This is going to add warmth to my face. I put it on the tops of my cheekbones. And this makeup, you guys, blends right in. Like, this isn't some crazy, like, cakey weird Mary Kay stuff. Not Mary, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. Mary Kay is nice makeup. It's a nice company. Been around for 100 years. They're doing something right. This is just different. It's a beautiful cream makeup that I think when you try it, you'll never go back to CoverGirl, Mary Kay. You like any makeup company, you'll never go back. Like once you go MAC, you'll never go back. So just trust me on this makeup. You gotta try it. And they have a 30-day return policy also. Anyway, so what was I saying? Squirrel. I don't remember. Sorry, guys. I get so distracted. Oh, and if you guys didn't hear the episode, do you guys know have you guys heard of Dirty John? You guys have heard the Dirty John story, right? Yeah, you'll never go. Once you go MAC, you never go back. I used to say that to all my old boyfriends when they would break up with me, and they're like, yeah, we're gone. It's fine. You're stupid. If you guys have heard of Dirty John was a con man who married a self-made millionaire. I think he was an interior designer, and he got with her and married her. He made her think that he was like this amazing doctor, and he made her think that he was like this incredible guy. And oh, thank you. I was afraid of not enough men. So yes, Dirty John is dead. So what I was saying was I was afraid of it being like a whole like Lifetime man hater channel. Like this is about women and how they're abused by men. Like it's about anybody being scammed or conned by what I call dogfish. I coined that term because it's not catfish. It's like kind of, anyways. So yeah, so if you haven't heard of Dirty John was a man who married a self-made millionaire, and he conned her into thinking he was like this amazing doctor, this anesthesiologist, and he was wearing the scrubs and going to work every day and all this stuff. Come to find out, fast forward, he was a con man. He was never a doctor, never anything like that. And this woman's 2 grown daughters were trying to tell her, like, Mom, like, this guy is no good. And she was like, oh, but I love him. Like, she couldn't see, the forest through the trees. Like, she was like, oh, but that can't be true. And they're like, Mom, we're trying to tell you, like, he's lying to you. And she, this is the gist of the story. It's on Netflix. You can go watch Dirty John. It's a true story. Anyways, so Dirty John, his name is John Meehan. He came after, like, at the end of the story, obviously it's his end, he tried to kill one of the daughters of the woman, and he came to her apartment complex with a knife, and he attacked her with this knife. He was trying to kill her. She was able to, while she was underneath him, she was able to get the knife from him and stab him in the eye, like zombie him right in the eye, killed him dead, right? So her name is Tara Newell. That's the daughter who ultimately ended his life. Anyways, she's on the podcast. We've become friends, and I actually saw her one day on my Instagram, and I was like, holy crap. I was like, you follow me on Instagram? And I messaged her, and I was like, I just wanted to tell you that I've been a fan of yours since like 7 or 8 years ago when this all happened. Like, I've been following you ever since, and you're just, you're really inspiring. I think it's cool and she's tiny, like she's a small girl, and just to kind of see someone of like her size, and she's just very quiet and petite, like she's not a very loud person, just to see someone like her size, her stature, kind of take out this man who was much bigger than her, and kind of rule it. Like she kind of showed him who was boss, right? And it was really cool because she doesn't want to be known as Dirty John's killer. Like she doesn't want to be known as that anymore. Like she wants to be known as Tara Newell, like the survivor who, does great things and whatever. And so that's kind of what I wanted for her, was to kind of be able to tell her story. So she came on the podcast. She told her story about how it all happened with her, like not necessarily how the relationship went with him and the mom. That story's already been told, right? But it was her telling her story about how he tried to kill her, and she ultimately ended his life instead. And it was a story of survival and a story of heroism and courage. And so I just admire her. Anyway, so every time I go to LA, we chat. She came to our live show. It was really, really cool. I was so scared when I heard the story that she was going to suffer legal repercussions. Well, so there's a lot of people came after her, and they were like, you murdered him. And she's like, dude, he literally tried to kill me. Like, he literally came after me. He came to my house and he tried to murder me. Like, he came at me with a weapon, like with the intent to kill me. Like, one of us is going home, but there's one thing you learn in self-defense, and that is one of us is going home. And I guarantee it's going to be me every time. That's what her thoughts were. Like, listen. And no holds barred. Like, she found the knife and just, like, imagine like the strength and the courage that took of someone of her size. Like a lot of people might have just like cowered down and been like, just started praying like, oh God, here we go. But not her. And like her little dog was like chewing on his ankles and like trying to get him off her. And so when you watch on Netflix, if you watch the Dirty John series, she said that a lot of it was kind of true. Like it followed the storyline. Okay. But she said the true part was whenever like the part that was depicted in the most true light, the most accurate light, was him attacking her in her apartment complex parking lot and her like stabbing him in the eye. Krav Maga mantras, do as much damage as possible. Absolutely. And I even told a PI story one time. I was doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I started doing jiu-jitsu because my dad was a firearms instructor at the sheriff's office for many, many years. So I'm very well trained. That's something we did together. My dad passed in 2015, but ever since then, it's just something that my husband and I do together. It's just something that we enjoy doing. So I'm very well trained with that, but I wanted personally, like on my body, I wanted to know how to move to like, defend myself, right? So I ended up doing jujitsu. I ended up tearing my ACL and I'm not allowed to do jujitsu anymore. But I did learn some moves. And so in one of my PI stories that I told, I was attacked by 4 dudes at an apartment complex. I was on surveillance and I was trying to knock on doors and get some information on someone, whatever. And so I was attacked by these 4 guys. And because of that knowledge of that little bit of knowledge of self-defense, like I wasn't even a blue belt yet. And because of that knowledge of self-defense, I was able to get away from, I wasn't able to like beat them up, but I was able to do enough damage to get away. And like, I did run one of them over on I think I ran over his foot or his leg or something. I don't know, cause I didn't go back and look. But anyways, when I did call the cops and go back, like there was no one there, but there's, I don't remember which PI story it was, but it's one of the 83 that I posted. Really crazy story. And it was like, they tried to assault me in a lot of ways. And so it was really cool that like, that self-defense. But anyways, it was like that gut instinct of she's being attacked. He's going to murder her. And one of us is going home and it's going to be me, buddy. And she's like, and that's what she did. And she protected herself. Anyways, so she was on the podcast and telling her story. And I just think it was like so courageous. And there's, like I said, the two girls that came on the OnlyFans pimp episode where they were talking about the guy that was pimping them out on OnlyFans. There's another episode of the woman who was, your sign says Barbie Way. I've always thought it Barbie y'all. Slightly. Oh my God. Casey, bless it. You are me. 100% you are me. Barbie, y'all. So anyways, there was another woman who came on the podcast and she was married to a psychiatrist, I think. So this is someone that she trusts who like knows the brain really well. They know like mental, all the mental, like emotional stuff. And so she's married to, which episode are you talking about? The girl, Nikki, I think it's called the OG dog or the OG dogfish because we were talking about the Dirty John story, but her name is Tara Newell. I don't remember which episode it was, like episode 7 or something. It was the first time I went to LA and I don't know what episode it was, but it's called OG Dogfish. And if you go to, I don't know about other apps, I use Spotify, but if you go on Spotify and scroll down towards the bottom and start scrolling up, you'll see it's OG Dogfish and it's not about the Dirty John. I mean, it is about Dirty John, but it's about Tara Newell, his killer. And I was in LA and we were in the studio, like recording with her. And that was my favorite episode of all time because she's my true crime hero. Like she's someone that I always looked up to. And so to meet her in person, like to see that she was following me on Instagram and then I sent her a message and I was like, I just want to let you know, it's so cool that like you're following me. And I think that, I've been a fan of yours for so long. You're my true crime hero. And she's like, oh my gosh, no way. And she's like, let's be friends. And then like, now we're friends. And I was like, oh, I love her. So every time I go to LA, we try to connect and she's so cool. And she's just so little. And you're like, this girl is a badass. Like, so anyways, we have a lot of guests that come on our show and just talk about like the con men. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. So many people have said that lately. Like, I love your vibes. And I'm like, I like that. I like putting off good vibes. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. What am I wearing today? Pink? Let's do some orange. Anyway, so just fun. The podcast is really, really good. If you haven't listened, go give it a listen. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's really, oh God. He was the worst. Oh, I think it was called Dr. Dogfish. I think that was the Dr. Dogfish episode. I really love that your podcast explores the voices of victims instead of just covering murdered women and wondering what they might have felt. Megs, that's one thing that we talk about a lot is like ethical true crime. And part of that means to me, like letting the victims tell their story instead of just assuming that like, you know, what happened. We want the victims to tell their story. I'm waiting on part 2. Nikki, it's out. Part 2 of Farmers Only is out. And if you guys did not see the reel that I posted, the reel that I posted today of me in like the cowboy hat, that was several months ago. You can tell because I've lost a lot of weight since then. Hannah, thank you so much. I'm gonna cry. I did, whenever Beyonce's country song came out, I did that video to it because I had bought cowboy boots and I had bought a hat. And both of those I have no reason for, but except they were like sentimental. That's the only reason I bought them. Anyway, so I thought it would be funny to make a video. Well, I used that same video and I put the Buckle Bunny song to it. You have to go listen to it. It's really funny and it really worked out. So we were talking about buckle bunnies on the Farmers Only episode where there are women who chase men, like women who don't have anything to do with like farming or country or whatever, and they just chase men who are farmers. I gotta wait till Wednesday so I don't have to wait along for the day. You, Nikki, oh my God, you are so me. I love you. Yes, my cowboy boots, yes. Y'all, I have no business owning cowboy boots. I've never listened to country a day in my life. But Morgan Wallen's mama, she follows me here on Instagram. I'm tickled pink. I talked to her on the messenger. She wears Saint, I believe. I don't know who she buys it from. But anyway, I think like, and she's so sweet, y'all. So I think that's really cool. Like, that's kind of neat. Everybody loves Morgan Wallen. I had no idea who he was until someone was on my live and they were like, Morgan Wallen's mom follows you. And I'm like, who's Morgan Wallen? And they were like, oh. And so I just thought that was really cool. There's a couple of celebrities who follow me and I'm like, that's so weird. Taylor Swift needs to follow me and get on my makeup stuff. I just got a free gift with purchase. I ordered the Stila eyeliners at Morgan Walnuts. No! I ordered some of the Stila the eyeliners from Ulta, some different colors that I wanted to try for you guys. Someone asked me to try it, and they sent me this Beso liquid lipstick as like a free gift, and I wanted to tell Taylor Swift to try. I'm so stupid, you guys. Anyways, that matches. This is going to be a pretty eyeshadow look. You guys got to try this eyeshadow. You have to try the eyeshadows that I do. These colors aren't crazy. Also, get color match for this makeup. It's really, really pretty. Just comment match or whatever, and then you can do my color match for them. Anyway, so yeah, so the podcast is really good. You have to go listen. Part 2 of Farmers Only is out. So if you're someone who cannot stand, like me, like I couldn't watch Grey's Anatomy because they kept saying, and something diabolical is going to happen next week. And then I'd wait like till next week and then it was crazy. And then I just don't have the anxiety. I don't have the control over my anxiety that I need for Grey's Anatomy. Same thing with our podcast. Like I can't listen to things that are like part 1 is now and part 2 is next week. I'm out. Like I'm done. And so I hate that we do that, but we can't help it. Like it's how we have to do it for the podcast. Like you have to do like a certain amount of minutes for the feed or whatever. So we have no choice. And we don't want to leave anything out of the stories because a lot of the information that our guests talk about is like really necessary. Like we can't just edit out all willy-nilly some important stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm really sorry, but there are some 2-parters. I used Claire and then I used Havana, which is this really pretty like orange color. I just got eyeshadow on my pants. It's fine. This one is Havana. It's like a corally kind of orangey. So I use Claire and then Havana. Oh, thank you, Megs. I'm so glad because so many people get mad at us. They're like, why'd you have to do a part 2? That's so stupid. And I'm like, listen, do you want it done right or do you want it done fast? This ain't Burger King. You don't get it your way. Just kidding. Just kidding. Thank you. You guys are so supportive. Yeah, so I use Claire and then Havana. I always match my clothes because I'm a dork. It's fine. I want to use some of this pomegranate. Look, this color right here. I think a lot of people are afraid of the reds, but you don't have to be. I have green eyes. If you have brown eyes, you probably don't want to wear a lot of red, but I feel like it's fine. Nikki, which ones did you get? Oh, aren't they so cute? They're so flattering too. I've never been one for one pieces because my body was so like apple shape and round. But now that I've lost a little bit more weight, like I'm starting to get a little bit more shape. But now I love the one pieces, and they can be really sexy. I thought that like one pieces were like old and matronly, but I think they're really pretty. Like I think they're really sexy now. And I shop from Shein a lot too. I love two-parters, but I hate the suspension, so I'm always happy to wait for both episodes. That's me too. I can't, my level of anxiety is just obnoxious. Like, I absolutely cannot do the wait till next season? Like on Grey's Anatomy, I cannot. I simply cannot. We're not doing next season. I can't. This is why I binge like 20 seasons at one time, because I will forget what happened and I will stop caring. Like, if you make me wait that long, just like a dude, like I'll tell you that I like you and I'll show you that I'm interested, but you make me wait too long, I'm done. I do not have the attention span for this. We're done. I have too much ADHD to be waiting on your ass. You like it or you don't. That's all there is to it. It's going to be the wildest thing you've ever heard if it's two parts. It's true! Congrats on the new outdoor setup and pool. Thank you so much. You want to know why I posted that? And I thought it was interesting. So I've been getting, I can't say a lot. I get some hate online because I'm in direct sales, which a lot of people hate direct sales. It's kind of a good business model. Like, the company's debt free, I'm debt free. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's great for women to get into direct sales, just because I feel like it's a great way to make money. Like, you're not allowed to guarantee making money, because a lot of people like sign up for direct sales and then don't do anything and just expect a paycheck. Yes, I will. I will talk about my weight loss 1 second. Thank you, Nikki. So the reason I shared about that was because sometimes you get people that are like, they want to hate on you for what you're doing, right? And starting in college, my professor told me, you'll never make it as a PI, because the way I dancey dance when I see your life, the way you say dancey dance. Oh my God, I love that dancey dance. I have to screenshot that, because I say blendy blend, dancey dance. I love it. So anyways, my college professor told me, you'll never make it as a PI because you're a girl. And I did that for 18 years, successfully making 6 figures. And then I accidentally started selling makeup, which I just signed up for the makeup. Like, I didn't know it was direct sales, because it's not like scale. That's why I didn't know, because it's really not like a bad, like there's no like requirement to sell a certain amount or whatever. Anyways, I didn't know it was direct sales, so I signed up for this. And then, so now I'm slinging makeup. And then a year into selling makeup, I was able to like make this my full-time income. But a lot of people are like, it's predatory, whatever. And I'm like, you guys know that like direct sales was the way that a lot of women kind of came into like making their own income and like being, self-sufficient when it came to money, was because direct sales. And this was the way they could stay home with their kids and like work their businesses. So a lot of people think it's like predatory, but it's like, this is the way women are making money. Like, this is I work from home now. Like, you know what I mean? So although results are different for everyone, and according to the Federal Trade Commission, you're not allowed to say you will make money, but I think a lot of people, for hating on me and saying, you'll never make it, you'll never do this. Like, number one, I did pretty good as a PI, but number two, like, now I'm in a place where, I've fulfilled a dream, and that was to have a pool. Most people want fancy cars and mansions, and they want like all of this stuff. I just wanted a freaking pool. That's all I ever wanted my whole life. I just wanted a pool in my backyard. There's a community pool in my neighborhood, but you got to pack up. You got to go to the pool. I just wanted a pool that was my own, that I could go outside. I'm a fish. My son's a fish. I just wanted a pool. So when I finally built a pool, and people were like, and then people continued, I built the pool last year. Like, I started building it in May. It was done in August. And so last summer, we didn't really get, to enjoy the summer in the pool. And so when people would tell me, like, you'll never make it, you'll never be successful, you'll never this. And I'm like, I've done pretty well. And then it was like, I'm not going to argue with people anymore about, you can be successful as a PI and be a girl. Like you can do direct sales, and you can, do the things, you can lose the weight, you can, all these things. People said like I would never find a man because I was fat, like people, like my whole life. And so I did find like the absolute perfect man for me. Maybe he's not perfect for everyone, but he's pretty damn perfect. And so anyways, just to kind of prove them wrong and be like, what does success look like to you? Number one. Number two, I'm done arguing. I'm just going to start showing. Like, I'm a grower, not a shower. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to let y'all see. Like, hate on me all you want, but that professor that told me I'd never make it as a PI, did pretty good. Did pretty good as a PI. And everybody who says, nobody makes any money in direct sales. Okay, you're right. You're right. They don't. I'm just done arguing, but and then so many people were like, I really want to, like, I'd really like to do what you do and sell makeup. And I'd really like that opportunity, but I'm really scared of what people will think. And I'm like, I don't care what they think anymore. Like, if you ain't doing something, like, they ain't thinking about you at all. And the devil don't come after you if you don't have something to come after. You know what I mean? So like, Satan only shows up when you got something cool going on. That's all I'm saying. The haters only show up because you got something cool going on. That's all there is to it. Anyways, so I wanted to share that, like, that was my dream. Like, I made my dream come true, and I want other people to know that, like, you can do that too. And I think everybody keeps telling us, you can't. That'll never happen. And I'm here to tell other women. And just like when it comes to, like, I've lost weight. Like, I weigh 161 pounds. I weighed 300 pounds. I weighed 300 pounds, and that was my highest weight, and I am down to 161 pounds, and I feel good. So in 2020, I had gastric sleeve, so I was at my highest weight, and I was like, I need something that's, like, permanent. Oh, thank you, Casey, you're so sweet. I needed something permanent because I have a bad relationship with food. I have a poor relationship with food. It's trauma. I was abused as a child. I had a poor relationship with my parent. Like, not a bad relationship, but my dad was abusive, like, but we didn't realize it was abuse. We thought it was like discipline. And then it wasn't until years later I found it was abuse. I was raped when I was 13, which was my very first sexual experience. And I didn't realize until like 25 years later or however old I am, whatever. I couldn't call it rape because I was like, well, it wasn't violent. Like, I didn't get punched in the face. So was it really rape, And so it wasn't until I'm in my late 30s that I'm able to discuss these things and actually talk about them and actually, like, address my trauma and consider that, like, food was the one thing that never hurt me. Like, food was the one thing that never, I mean, ultimately it was hurting me. Like, it does hurt us whenever we gain weight, right? But it never feels bad. Like, food will hurt you because you'll gain weight and the obesity can hurt you and can kill you. But food never makes you feel bad the way everything else makes you feel bad. And so that's why, like, I wasn't someone who ate, like, when I was sad. Like, when I'm sad, I don't want to eat, right? But it's the one thing that doesn't hurt. Food is the one thing that does not hurt. And so that's the one thing that I was addicted to. I'm still addicted to food. Like, I think I have a food addiction, but no one says that because when you think of addiction, you think of drugs, you think of alcohol. You just don't think about the fact that you can be addicted to other things, that you can be addicted to, people, and, you can become obsessed with things and people. As a PI, do you have any tips for girl moms' protection against predators? Girl, yes. I sure do. I'll address it. Hold on. I want to screenshot this to make sure I don't forget it, just because I have squirrel brain. I have really bad ADHD. But anyway, so my relationship with food never healed. Even after I had the gastric sleeve, I lost like 60 something pounds, and then little by little I started gaining it back because my relationship with food did not change. I was able to eat, I could eat less, which is why I lost the weight, but then I would find ways to, like, eat more. So then I would eat, and when they do the gastric sleeve, they cut your stomach, right? So you're left with, like, only 10%, like, they take out, like, 90% of your stomach. Hey, thanks, Knick Knack, I appreciate you. Excuse me. So your stomach is like the size of a banana now. So it can hold very little. But when you have a poor relationship with food or a food addiction, like I believe I have, you just kind of adjust a little bit, let the food go down, you drink some water, and then you can eat more. until you are physically in pain, like you just keep eating. And that's the problem with like surgery, is that it doesn't heal your relationship. So I'm working with, we had BetterHelp, which is the therapy, and they started advertising on the podcast, which if you want to look into BetterHelp, I have a discount code because they advertise on the pod. But anyway, so I started using them just because they were advertising on the pod, and I wanted to make sure that if I'm advertising for something, I want to make sure I like it. Like, that's why when I talk about stuff on here, I always have a discount code for it, because if I like it, I'm going to share it. And so I try to work with these brands to get like discount codes if I'm really, really passionate about something. Anyway, so, I'm going to use Revival next, I think. So anywho, so I started working with BetterHelp and started actually like therapy, which is so stigmatized, right? Like, you're like, oh, therapy, you must be crazy. But that's not the case at all. And I learned that like going to therapy is just kind of talking about things and getting them out of you. And I'm someone who's such an overthinker that it's like, it's necessary for me, right? Like I'm an oversharer and just continue to, you know, share my story and share about me. And for me, that's cathartic, that's therapeutic for me. And talking to someone who has knowledge about the brain and about, you know, mental things and, you know, emotional stuff, like it's been really helpful for me. So anyway, so I started seeking therapy and started talking to someone, you know, just about my feelings and they really do. Like, you think it's kind of like only in the movies we're like, let's talk about your childhood. And I'm like, no, like, I don't want to talk about my child. And you're like, that's stupid. Like, nothing in my childhood could possibly have affected me that much. And then if I like, Megs, try BetterHelp. Let me know if you want the discount code. I think it's betterhelp.com/TDD for the dating detectives, but message me and I can give you the link for it. Yeah, it is. It's like going to the doctor, but there's like, at least with talk therapy, like with BetterHelp, like there's no meds. Like you literally talk it out and it's helpful. They give you like tools to help you. Like they'll tell you like, oh, well, if you're thinking about that, here's a tool you can use, and you try grounding and this is how you do it. And so it just helps you to kind of refocus or whatever. Anyways, I didn't realize, like I was saying, that the discipline that my father was providing us was not discipline at all. It was abusive. And hey, shout out to Shannon. Tell Shannon I said, hey girl, hey. And so I didn't realize that. I did not want to call my sexual assault. I did not want to call it a rape. I didn't want to call it a sexual assault. I was like, you know, when you meet your husband, like when I met my husband and we were talking about like our first, like, oh, who was your, you know, how old were you when you lost your virginity? And, you know, who is your first, and you start like learning more about each other's past and what you've experienced and like sharing that. I was like, so like I said, I had sex with this guy when I was 13. I kind of didn't want to, but it was a bad experience, but I don't want to talk about it. Right. But I never could say like I was raped when I was 13 by a boy who was a grown up. That was like, and I just never called it that because it wasn't violent. It wasn't a dark back alley. He didn't like beat me up. There were no bruises. There were no scars. It was not whatever. But emotionally, like, and I said I didn't want to do it, but he was like, he said he was so nice to me and he was like, oh, but this is fine. And because he was an older boy and then my friend was there with her boyfriend and I was like, well, I'm not going to say no because then I'm going to be embarrassed and then he's going to be embarrassed. And what if that makes him mad? And so if it's not an enthusiastic yes, that's why we talk about on the podcast, like people are afraid of the word rape. Like we don't want to say rape because it's like, no, don't say rape because that's not fair. What about the people who have actually been raped? And it's like, just because people weren't beat up doesn't mean that wasn't their experience. And so anyways, things like that are things that I never dealt with, which is what led to my, like the eating, because food never hurt me. Food never made me feel bad. And I think a lot of women experience that. And so when I started talking about my weight loss, the one thing that I said that I think resonated with a lot of people that I didn't realize, hey, Michelle, I said, that's why I want tips from you, because my girl needs to know more about predatory behavior. It's not always stranger danger. It is not. It is hardly ever stranger danger. It is hardly ever a stranger. It is. It really is. And people are afraid of the word rape. We don't say rape because they're like, oh, that's a bad word. Like we say sexual assault. And I'm like, no, girl, that's called rape. 100%. And people are afraid to say, they're like, don't call it that. Maybe it wasn't that. That sounds a little harsh. let's call a freaking spade a spade. If this is out here happening to people, then this needs to be talked about. We need to give it a name, because if you're ashamed to say it, we need to make it shameful. We need to make it known. Like, we need to put that shame on it so that maybe the people that think about it realize that this is not an enthusiastic, consensual situation. Like, what I'm doing is wrong, right? So we need to start talking about the seriousness of it. But anyway, so I didn't, and this was someone that I knew not well, but I did know him. But, oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. You're all the way in Manila. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here. So anyway, so stuff like that is stuff that you go through. Like, that's one reason that I feel like I held on to so much weight, because of the food. Anyways, so, what was I saying? With the, talking about things that are important, or things that you went through, and like acknowledging them is one thing. And then just having, like, learning how to gain that control back over food is something that you're not taught, like, even when you have weight loss surgery. So anyways, so I ended up seeking therapy and talking to, thank you, Ginger, I appreciate you. Talking things out and dealing with stuff like that. You should be a therapist as well as a PI and a Saint artisan. You're so sweet. Thank you. I feel like there are things that we need to say out loud, and I'm a very nice person. Like, I try to think about people in like the kindest ways, but also, y'all, we got to be real. Oh, that's what I was saying. The one thing that I said that really resonated with people was how I would leave work. Like, I would do a long day of surveillance, and I would come home, and on my way home to go home and make dinner, I would stop at like McDonald's and get a cheeseburger. Not because I was hungry, not because I needed a snack, like, just because I wanted that. Like, I wanted that comfort for whatever reason, even if I didn't have a bad day. And I was always ashamed of that. And that's not something you talk about. You never talk about your weight. You don't talk about the shameful things that you do, stopping to eat food on your way home to cook dinner. Like, that's disgusting, right? Like, no wonder I was fat, right? But what so many women said, and I don't think any men, so I'm going to say women, but so what so many people said was that, oh my gosh, I've done that too. And I was like, holy crap, like, there's a group of people out here that are feeling this way. Like, they've done the same thing, just as, it's just as shameful. And so we talk about how we hate being fat and we want to lose weight, but we can't stop that needing that comfort. And so it's a big thing for a lot of people. Like, it's hard. And so I guess the one reason that, like, I continued is, first of all, I'm hard-headed. So when my professor told me you'll never make it as a PI because you're a girl and it's a man's industry, I'm hard-headed. So of course I was like, nah, hide and watch. So I did. And then whenever I signed up for like, Saint, which I thought was just like, what do you call it? Like, affiliate marketing. Like, I get a lot of affiliate requests. Like, hey, like, if you do a video on our product, like, we'll pay you a commission, or we'll pay you this much money, or whatever. Like, I did that HelloFresh ad on my story or whatever, and they paid me a couple $1,000, like, little, like, affiliate marketing. That's what I thought Saint was, right? And I was like, well, I'm just not going to make any videos. I just wanted the makeup, but I'll sign up, whatever. And then I realized that it was direct sales. And then everybody, like, I got so much hate for it. And they're like, you're not in direct sales, are you? Ew. And like, people were like, I really liked you till I found out you were in direct sales. And I was like, that doesn't add up. I was like, one of these things is not like the other. And I was like, that's so interesting to me. Hi, you know that this makeup is coming to Australia at the end of this year, right? You're on my list, right? You signed up on my list, on my email list. If you're in Australia or the UK, this is coming to you this year. So get on my email list, so I'll keep you updated. So if you want the email list, just let me know. And I'll get you hooked up on that. Look how pretty this eyeshadow look is, by the way. Can we stop and just take a moment? I'll post the colors on the description when we get off of here. But anyway, so I feel like it's all circling back, I promise. I could talk the skin off an apple. If I'm talking too much, y'all could just hang up. I won't take offense to it. Anyway, so it all circles back, because all of this to say that, like, when I went through my weight loss struggles, if it wasn't for you guys, if it wasn't for the support of the women that have decided to, like, join me, and for whatever reason, whether it's the makeup and whether it's the Yay! Aqua Snowflake, I love your name. Are you on my email list? Do you want to be? And then I'll just send you, like, whenever we get updates, I've been updating my people, like my UK and Australia girls. I've been sending emails whenever corporate sends us an update. I've just been trying to do my best to keep everyone updated. Also tell your friends. So anyways, so it all circles back because I feel like when I started sharing about, like, when I joined this direct sales company on accident, people, like, they wanted to buy makeup from me, and I'm like, don't buy makeup from me. Like, it's a pyramid scheme. Don't do it. Don't do a pyramid scheme. And I was like, no, don't. Like, the makeup is good, I guess, but, like, don't. And they were like, no, I really want it. And I'm like, don't do it. And whatever. So I thought it was like everybody was going to go to jail. Like, we're all, like, nobody joined this pyramid scheme because, like, we're all just going to go to jail. Anyways, that wasn't the case. Nobody went to jail. It was just a, like, it's just a good company. Anyways, so people started, like, coming around on the makeup, and then I was like, okay, so then I kept showing up for them. Like, the couple of people that said, hey, I want to try this makeup, I just showed up for those 2 or 3 girls. And then little by little it turned to 4, and then 17, and then 900, and then more, and now it's almost 2 million people that I've reached. Like, more than that, but those are the people that have, like, have hit the follow button on whatever platform. And so I think that that's really cool, and it says a lot about, like, how you can impact people just by showing up, which is why when my professor told me I couldn't make it as a PI, and I did, and then I started selling the makeup, and then I realized that it was kind of cool, and so then I kept selling the makeup, and then women were realizing, holy crap, I can be a PI. And it was like, not only was I helping women feel confident with their makeup, but now they're like, I can be a private investigator. I'm a girl. And when you think of private investigator, don't you think of, like, a man, usually, right, sitting in a car with, like, a camera with a lens this long, rolled down, none of the windows are tinted, and he's wearing sunglasses and a hat and a leather jacket and an orange t-shirt and jeans with dad shoes, like the New Balance tennis shoes, and he's sitting in his car, like, all willy-nilly on the side of the road with his long lens sticking out the window, right? That's what you think of, right? Tell me no. Tell me it's not what you think of. Is this available in the UK? Cassie, this year. It's coming out this year. I'm going to text you, or I'll send you a DM to get you on my email list to keep you on the updates. How long have you been selling makeup? I started in January of 2022. So 2.5 years. And it's been so good. So good. It was just amazing how, like, it came from me being totally ashamed. I was depressed. Like, I was doing surveillance, which I think anybody should be a PI. Like, if you're a girl and you're like, I need a career change or I need to do something cool, go be a PI. Like, look up your state's requirements. Usually it's something really easy, like, just, talking to, like, in Florida, you have to apply through the Department of Agriculture, but in each state, every state governs their own private investigators. So if you go to the Google machine and just type in, how do I become a private investigator and then type in your state, and it'll tell you, like, you have to go through here, you have to apply through this, and some states don't even require a license. They just require you to have, like, a certain amount of experience or maybe law enforcement or whatever. Anyway, so you can totally be, thanks, Flakies. I'll send you the color match form. Thank you, Lauren. Oh, that's another thing. That's what a lot of people said. They were like, I came here for the PI stories, but your makeup's actually not bad. And do you know how many people were like, yeah, I don't care about the makeup. I just want your PI stories. And they're like, okay, I want to buy this makeup. And it's cool because you don't realize, like, how many people that you're reaching. And so just to know how many women have reached out to me and said, I just applied to be a PI, or I just talked to someone about being a PI or whatever. And it's like, this is empowering, right? So even though being a PI for 18 years, I feel, hi, Archie the Wonder Lab. I love that name so much. I love these creative, what do we call them now? Handles? Screen names? Remember when we were on, like, I was born in 84, and so we had the AOL, like, you've got mail days, and you would, like, go into the chat rooms and stuff. And we had our screen name, and we were all being like, those people were predators, but nobody knew about predators back then. I was almost trafficked so many times I didn't even realize it on that AOL. And Prodigy, we had Prodigy too. Anyway, so I was a PI for 18 years, got super, super depressed. Amanda, you're so sweet, and I love you. I'm so glad that we're friends. Amanda signed up as an artist under me, and, like, we've become such great friends. Like, I just really adore her. But anyway, so between the PI stories and, like, being a PI for 18 years, I was really, really depressed. I was isolated. And if you know me by now, like if you've been here more than 5 minutes, you see my energy is up here and I'm always firing on all cylinders. This is baseline. I wake up like this. I do not drink coffee, energy drinks, nothing. This energy is baseline. Imagine me on coffee. It's absurd. Okay. So anyways, a lot of people mention my energy. They're like, oh, you have great energy. But what people don't realize is that thank you. A lizard breath. Oh my God, that's so cute. A lizard breath. And so what you don't realize is that there's, things, people are going through things that you don't see, or that they don't let you see, or whatever. Oh, my husband's couch is coming tomorrow. I just got a text. If someone wanted to sign up as an artist under you, how would you do that? Nikki, I'll message you. If you comment the word artist, it should send you the link, but I'll send you a message just to make sure. But that's another thing too, is that's one thing I like to stress, because just full transparency, I am Aqua Snowflake. Your eyeshadow looks amazing. I always try with eyeshadow, but I'm just follow me for more recipes. I can do the eyeshadow all day. I'll teach you any color. You give me any color combo, I'll make it work, even if it's crazy. I promise. Like, everybody's afraid of eyeshadow, but if you follow my recipe, I'm telling you, I will have you doing eyeshadow like a professional. Anyway, so with the one thing that I didn't want to do with direct sales, like, I love being a PI and I love talking about it, and people say, how do I become a PI? And it's easy for me to say, like, oh, you just do this, like, but I think what a lot of people won't do is tell you all the bad things about it, right? Like, thank you so much. I got an American Eagle. It's my first time wearing it. Isn't it cute? What a lot of people won't tell you is like the bad things, right? So when I talk about being a PI, people say, hey, I want to be a PI. And I'm like, this is great. Like, it's wonderful. And I try to be encouraging, because it is really a good job. Like, I made a good career for myself as a private investigator. Like, I did it for 18 years. I still do. I'll always renew my license. I'm still doing surveillance every once in a while. Like, now I just have a little bit more freedom as far as when I want to and if I want to and whatever. And so I really, really do like being a PI, but I always like to say, listen, I want to let you know, like, I really, really, I think being a PI is really good. But when they ask, they're like, hey, what are the bad things? I'm going to let you know, like, it's boring. And you're sometimes doing a surveillance for 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, sometimes over 24 hours. Like, you're sitting in a car doing surveillance. Not all private investigators. Rude. Got a phone call in the middle of my live. That's so rude. That's so rude. Work the iPhone. Anyway, so I don't remember what I was saying. See, I can't get distracted. I always try to tell people, like, listen, you're on surveillance for a long time. You're doing hours and hours and hours of watching people, which is, for me, I can do it, because I could sit for hours and, like, I'm the most impatient person in the world, but I can sit on a surveillance and watch all day long. Did you see my Marshall and Melinda story? I think it was episode like 80 and 81 or something. And it was this couple. They weren't even part of my investigation. They were just like in the front yard, like arguing, and Marshall had on like 2 different color socks, and he was out in his like tidy whities, and like they're just arguing. And it's oh my God, Nikki, screenshot them. That's what me and my best friend do. We screenshot them and we save them as each other's screens. Like, when you call each other, that's our screensaver, is when the face freezes. It's funny. So anyway, so I could watch people all day long, but there's some people who want to be a PI because it's cool, but you don't realize, like, it's boring. Like, you are literally picking your butt for hours and hours, and there's nothing to do. So for me personally, I just happened to get into makeup. Like, that's what I started doing, was makeup, because it started killing time. And I just, did you screenshot it? Oh my God, you have to send it to me. I love that so much. Anyway, so that's one thing that I like to do, is share, like, all the things, right? Like, full transparency. You want to be a private investigator, you're going to be bored, like, a lot of the times. And there's a lot of times as a PI, people think, oh, I'm going to do surveillance, I don't have to talk to anybody. Yeah, you do. You got to get out of the car. You got to talk to people. You got to knock on doors. You got to make up stories. You got to figure out a way to figure out what your person's doing. Like, you got to figure out a way to use your social engineering skills to find out more about someone. Like, that's what you have to do. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to talk to somebody. And I'm like, then you're not going to make a good PI. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? But it's the same thing with selling the makeup. Like, people were like, don't be predatory and, like, say, join my direct sales company or whatever. Look, I ain't your mama. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you don't like it, don't do it. And if you do like it, then do it. And then if you don't like it after that, then stop. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, I think it's important to share like the goods and the bads. Can you just tag me in for the 5 minutes of action? Right? And sometimes it's all you get is 5 minutes and the rest is like boredom. Like you are crushing candy for like hours. So anyways, the goods and the bads. And I think a lot of people don't realize that it's not all bad. Like, you know, they say, oh, you gotta, but that is one thing that I'll do. So if you do want to know about the artist program, like I'll tell you all the things, but I'll also say like, don't join the artist program if you're not someone who's actually interested in doing the work. Because I think that's why direct sales has like kind of a bad reputation, is because people say, oh, join me. You can make so much money. And then like they join and then they're not making money, and it's like you forgot to tell them they got to actually do some work. And that's what I do. I'm like, don't join my team. Like don't join me as a PI, like as a PI. Don't join me as like a Saint artist. Don't join me and be like, I want to sell makeup. Like a lot of people think I'm just in my office like jerking off, like, you know, playing with makeup and having fun. Like, yeah, I'm working. I literally work all day long. Like, you go to an office 8 to 5, I go to my office 8 to 5. Like, I'm in here, I'm creating content, I'm connecting with my customers. Like, I am the manager, I'm the customer service representative, I'm everything. I don't, like, my customers, when they come to me and say, hey, I want to try this makeup, I'm doing your color match, I'm initiating contact with you, I am following up with you. When you get your makeup, I'm following up with you. I'm asking how you like it. I'm asking how your mom is doing. And then whenever you say, hey, I have this problem or I have this question, I take it on and I'm like, let me do that customer service for you. I don't send my people to corporate. Like, I am your corporate. Like, if I need corporate help, then yeah. But otherwise, I help you. And so I feel like that's the work that I do. And full transparency, like, I tell people not to join me. And I'm a top recruiter here. Like, I'm someone who recruits a lot of people, but not because I'm recruiting. It's just because I'm honest. And like, I feel like that's what people need. And sometimes it's not about like how many you recruit, but like the people. And sometimes I'm not going to I'm not going to dick you around and be like, yeah, join me. You can make so much money. That's not fair. I feel like a lot of people think, oh, come join my team. You can make so much money. There's a lot of people that ain't here for the money. I wasn't here for the money. I didn't need a freaking other job. Like, I didn't need to sell makeup. I was making 6 figures as a PI. Like, I don't need to, I didn't think I needed this. I mean, now I'm making much more. Like, it's like, you know, but so it worked out for me, but it's not going to work out like that for everyone. And so I just, you know, I did the work. I served my time. I work hard. And so I feel like that's the difference. And I feel like that's when it becomes predatory, is when people lie about it. So full transparency, my college professor told me I couldn't be a PI, and that's why I did it. It wasn't because I thought I'd be great at it. I wanted to be on the SWAT team. I wanted to kick down doors and blow shit up. I wanted to wear a bulletproof vest, and I wanted to play with the little, did you guys see my stories when I went with my brother works at, he works at Space Force, the Space Coast Space Force Center or station, Space Force Station. Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. So like SpaceX, like all that stuff. My brother works over there. And so we went to Family Day on the base over there, which is like the Patrick Air Force Base, basically. And so we went over there and we had the Family Day, and they had the Space Coast Police, whatever. Anyways, they had the SWAT team guys with like the robots, like the bomb detecting robots or whatever. And I wanted to play with those so bad. Like, that's what I wanted to do. Don't hurt yourself. You do see the steam coming out of my ears. Words are hard. You hush it, Jennifer. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be law enforcement. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like a firearms instructor, like my dad. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a PI. When I said that is because my college professor told me I couldn't be on the SWAT team because I couldn't have my nails done. And then I was like, well, then I'll make my own rules and I'll do my own investigations. I'll be a private dick, because I was like class clown. Because I always thought when you're ugly, you got to be funny. And I was not a pretty girl. Like, I had to be funny. Like, that was the only way I would make friends, is if I was funny. Because I wasn't very cute. Like, I wasn't a good looking girl. I was big, like, whatever. Sentences while putting on makeup. Listen, I'm trying the best I can, okay? Don't judge me. Go away. So anyways, so whenever he said, well, you'll never make it as a PI, you're a girl, it just made me want to do it more. And so I just feel like when people say bad things to me or like about something, it makes me want to do it more. So anyways, people were like, don't do online dating. And what did I do? Match.com, plentyoffish.com, here I come. That's how I met my husband. But we ended up meeting, and then I was like, so real quick, as a private investigator, do you know how many times I've been cheated on? A lot. I would date dudes and I'd be like, oh, like at first I would meet guys, like I'd go out with my girlfriends or whatever, and we'd go to like a bar or something, and I'd meet a guy and he'd be like, oh, what do you do for a living? Like that's the first kind of icebreaker conversation you have. And I'd be like, oh, I'm a private investigator, and he'd be like, okay, yeah, gotta go, see ya. And they would leave, like they didn't want nothing to do with it. So then I started lying and saying I was an accountant, which is really funny because I don't math at all. So I was just like praying to the good Lord above that nobody asked me a math question, because then I would just have to like flirt my way out of it somehow. But excuse me. So one time I said I was a stripper. Y'all, I was like 300 pounds. Like I had not that 300 pound girls can't be strippers, but like it was just to be funny. And so like I said I was an accountant. I said I was a stripper. I said I was like a nanny. Like I just made up all these jobs. Well, then I was like, screw that. Like I want to be myself. So I started telling people literally like I'm a private investigator. And if they don't like it, then I was like, good. Then it kind of weeds out the people who are afraid of PIs. That means they probably have something to hide. So I started admitting that I was a private investigator. And so the first couple guys that I dated as a private investigator totally cheated on me. And of course I found out within like, I don't know, 6 minutes, because they're stupid and I'm not. And hello, don't date a PI and then cheat on me. Like, you think if I'm PI, obviously I'm nosy. Like, I'm going to find out, and I already don't trust you. So, like, really, what was your first clue? But it's fine. Anyways, so that's it. So I started, whenever I got divorced from my son's dad, I was, single for a little while. Like, I was over it. And then I was like, okay, you're, as a human, like, you want to meet somebody to connect with. That's why we go online, because it's easy and it's accessible, and everybody's got, like, girls and guys, they got everybody in their back pocket, right? Like, your phone is in your back pocket, and you just kind of go on, and you go on whatever website and you meet people. And this eyeshadow, the audacity, thank you. This eyeshadow turned out good. I'm gonna list these colors, you gotta try it. So anyway, so I would go online, and so I went on Match.com and Plenty of Fish, and it's the same people over and over, and like it's the same dudes, right? And so, not that it's bad, it's just hard to date online, because when people in general, when humans have that much access to more people, we always say the grass is greener. Like there's always someone better. So like if you're talking to a girl and you really like her, you can also be talking to 10 other girls and literally doing whatever you want. And who's going to babysit you? No one. They ain't your mama. Like, and so now we have like the phone locks, and now everything's private. And anyways, as a PI for however many years before I met my husband, I don't trust anybody. I already didn't trust anybody. I already have trust issues. We talked about my trauma. Like, I don't trust anybody. And so, anyways, so I started talking to people, and then little by little, I let my guard down online, right? So I would like meet a guy online, and I'd be like, oh, he's really nice. And then I'd let him like, talk me into like I would let him make me believe that he was actually really nice. And I'm like, all right. I would let my guard down a little bit, which is like probably against my better judgment, but I did. And so I would trust him, and then he'd break my heart. And then I would trust another one, and he'd break my heart. And this is over like a period of time, right? Well, then I said, listen, and I had a pep talk with myself. And I'm not someone who plays those games. Why do I always spit on myself? If you've been here more than twice, I spit on myself, so you already know, it's fine. I'm not someone who plays those games. Like, if I want to talk to you, I'm just going to text you or call you. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I have to wait 2 days, or he needs to call me first. Like, if I want to talk to you, I'm going to reach out. And I just feel like it, whatever. And so that's what I would do. Well, then I realized that, like, then I was like, well, let me try to play hard to get, because these guys are being like dickheads or whatever. So I'm dating online, and I'm trying to talk to these guys, and they're all idiots. And they were all lying about everything. They get what they want from you. And then these are the same guys. I don't know if you guys have seen my posts where I talk about like the things guys have said to me. You're too fat to date. Like, you're like, I'll have sex with you, but I can't date you because that's gross. Like, people would make fun of me. Like, I could never be seen with you in public. Like, all of these things. Like, people have said that to me to my face, like with their mouth, like with their, not even behind a keyboard, like with their words. I don't know where their mama is, but it's fine. Anyways, so they would just be really mean. And so I decided, I had a pep talk with myself, and I said, the next guy that I even think about connecting with, I'm going to play so hard to get, and I'm going to treat him the way these guys are treating me. Like, I'm turning the tables. Like, I'm done. And so I finally hit like my last straw. And I was like, that's it. So I said, next guy, he's going to be like, he's going to wish he never met me. And it was my husband. And he messages me and I'm talking to him and I'm like, he'd be like, hey, like he said something really nice, but it was like still really generic. Cause what do you say? Like some women post on their thing. It says, don't just message me and say hello. Like, what do you mean say? Like something profound? Like what? And then I'm trying too hard. You can never get it right? So guys, it's difficult because women want you to say something profound, but it's also like, oh, he's trying too hard. Like, why can't you just say hello? I just feel like that's what you say is hello. Like, you know what I mean? Anyways, excuse me. So he said something like kind of nice. It was just regular. And I was like, oh, hi. And then, like, we looked at each other's pictures, and obviously we both thought each other was cute. But at and of course, my pictures were, like, perfect angles. Like, he did not see how big I was. Like, I did not post body pictures. I mean, they were a little, like, you could see a little bit of my body, but it was, like, a perfect angle, so you could see that I wasn't, like, huge. I made myself look a little thinner just with the angles. Because I wanted to be I wanted to be honest about what I look like, but I also didn't want to, like, scare him off, which was, like, being fat. And so, we kind of started talking. And then after like a couple of days, I was like, all right, well, let me add a full body, like a straight on body picture. And I did. And he was like, oh, you're so beautiful. And I was like, this guy, I weigh like 275 pounds. Like, why does this guy think I'm pretty? Like, something's weird. So then I didn't trust him because I was like, no, every guy who's ever said I was pretty has always done the thing where they say, oh yeah, you're so pretty. I want to date you. And then they get what they want from you and then never talk to you again. And they say all the right things. And they totally lie. Right. So these are dogfish, like totally, like completely just lying to you, right? Just to get what they want. Anyways, so I was like, yeah, right. He's just saying that, like, he just wants somebody to hook up with and that's it. Like, that's why they say, you're pretty, is because they just want to hook up and that's it. So I thought that's what this was. So I, like I said, was like, I'm going to treat him just like everyone treats me. And I was like, yeah, thanks. And like, I never complimented him back. And so then when he was like, oh, you look so pretty. And I was like, yeah, thanks, whatever. Well, we started talking and I trusted him enough to give him my phone number. And so then we were texting. So we moved off the app onto the texting. And so we would text and he would text me and he would say, something sweet, right? Just something simple like, oh, I use the Benefit brow products, the Goof Proof brow. This is precisely my brow. The Goof Proof brow pencil. And then I use this 24-hour super setter. And it kind of like, it just locks them down. Because I usually have one grandpa brow that tries to pop out all willy-nilly. Kind of goes rogue. But the Benefit brow products are really good. So anyways, he would text me and he'd be like, good morning, gorgeous. And I'd like 2 days later, I'd be like, oh, hey, sup. Like, I wouldn't reply, and I'm a talker, like, you guys know that, and so for me to just be like, oh, hey, what's up, like, I was really playing hard to get, like I said that I would, and so, little by little, like, he kind of started, we started talking more and more. No, it's not mascara, it's a clear, like, brow gel, kind of. Saint has a brow wax that you can pop into your palette, but I prefer that one just because it has the stick, and it's just ready to go. So anyways, we started to get to know each other little by little. And then he tells me, he says, well, I'm talking to this girl. We're kind of friends with benefits. And I'm like, here we go. Like this guy is lying to me for sure. Like he's got a friend with benefits. Like, of course he does. And he wants, me to be okay with it. And I'm not going to step on another girl's toes. I absolutely will not compete with another woman for a guy. Like she can have him. Like I will absolutely not compete. I do not compete. Like, I just don't. So my saying was, I don't chase, I replace. Like, if I have to chase you, I'm just going to replace you with someone else. Like, I'm not interested in doing this whole game, right? So anyways, so my husband now was trying to talk to me. He's like, I have a friend with benefits, but we're not super, super, like, serious. I don't want to have a serious relationship with her, but this is someone that, we've, connected or whatever. Did you look into him? No, funny enough, I've never looked up anybody. I feel like it's not fair. I feel like I wanted a fair playing field. And also, my intuition could find out more than any comp report could find out or any background check. Plus, background checks are expensive. Like, I wasn't going to spend my money on spend $100 out willy-nilly just to find out about some guy that I didn't have no interest in. So, no, I never did look into anybody. Not to date them. Like, I did eventually, like, kind of... And not even just public record stuff. Like everything's public record. So I never used my PI my resources that are only available for PIs, I never use that to look up anybody ever. Like, I never have. It's just always been for work because that shit costs money. I don't chase, I replace. Yep. We don't chase them. We're just replacing them. We're done. We're done here. Like, you know? So anyways, so I started, like, he was telling me about his friend with benefits, and I'm like, okay, so this is somebody that, you know, I need to compete with, and I'm not going to do it. So, and he was like, well, I really like talking to you, and I'd really like to get to know you more. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it off with my friend with benefits because I really just want to focus on you. And I'm like, first of all, we've never done anything like sexually. Like, we never hooked up. It wasn't anything like that. Like, I didn't have a lot of money. Like, there was nothing. I couldn't find any reason why he would, like, be so nice to me. And I was like, what kind of guy is going to, number one, tell you about a friend with benefits when he just met you? Excuse me. And number two, like, break it off with them so that he would feel more comfortable, you know, talking to you continually. And so I was like, nobody does that. Like, nobody's just going to be like that straightforward and be like, I really like you. I have this friend. And I was like, I don't trust him because it was too honest. So then it's like, you don't trust them because you think that they're lying. But then when they're actually honest, you don't trust them because it's too honest. Like, that's where I was, right? So, by the way, I drink these. These are not chalky. They're from Sam's Club, and they're my favorite. Like, they really do fill you up, and they don't give that nasty aftertaste. Chocolate's the only one I like. I don't like the rest of them. So anyways, I thought, excuse me, I thought he was being, like, overly honest, and I was like, I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him. Like, we're done. And so whenever he would message me, he would just be like, hey, good morning, gorgeous. And I was just like, yeah, right. Hello. What's up? Like, what's up? Whatever. And I think that he liked that I was, like, we talked about, like, ethics and talking to a guy now, and I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. So we got to know each other, like, ethically and emotionally and mentally, and we really did connect there. Like, we had a lot in common there. And so I think that's what kept us, like, talking, and that's what we really liked about each other. But I still didn't get, like, why he would be so honest. Like, he had nothing to prove to me. Why would he say that? Yes, been burned too many times. Exactly. Well, so then I was like, okay, benefit of the doubt. And I'm not going to tell him I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just going to let it be in my mind. Like, benefit of the doubt. This guy is this nice. Let's just see what happens. But I still had that guard up. Like, I'm not doing this. Because I've been a PI for so long. I know what happens. Like, these people are like, everything's fine and perfect until it's not. And until you find out whatever. So we're talking, and I go to meet him face to face. Like, I want to put a face to a name because that's one of the things that you're supposed to do when you're talking online. Lock it down. Confirm that they are who they say they are. Number one. Like, don't get catfished, right? So number one, put a face to a name, confirm it, meet him in person, FaceTime, something. So I happen to be working near his, I was a felony POA. So yeah, oh my God. My best friend was too. Up in Tennessee. She's the one who does my custom nails. By the way, she did these all willy-nilly nails. But she was the same thing. So anyways, I was like, there's no way this guy's as honest, whatever, you gotta lock it down. So I meet him in person. He's a nice guy. He did not dress up for me. He did not go out of his way. This guy was wearing pajamas when I met him. Like, he had just retired from the military. So he had just gotten out, and the military gave him like a crap ton of money, and he was medically retired. Like, he medically could not do the job anymore. So they retired him, gave him a bunch of money, and said, okay, you're on your way now. And so he hadn't looked for a job yet because he had enough money to last him for a couple years. So he was like just sitting, like chilling, and kind of little by little looking for what he was going to do in the future, like work or whatever. And he was getting his VA benefits, but he still needed a job. But like, his house was paid for, like everything was taken care of. So he didn't need money from me. He didn't need anything from me. We hadn't hooked up or anything. So like, what does this guy want from me that he's telling me I'm going to break up with my friends with benefits for you? And so I just kept talking to him, met him in person. I'm like, all right, he's nice, whatever. But he didn't go out of his way for me. He didn't like take me to a fancy dinner and like try to woo me. He was just like, hey, I'm in my Superman flannel pajamas. And like, here I am. And I was like, you really made an effort, didn't you? But I liked that. Like, I liked that he didn't make an effort. Like, there was no, and I'm not someone who dresses up. Like, I've been a PI. I do surveillance for 18 years. My uniform is like shorts and a t-shirt. So the fact that I didn't have to dress up or be like any kind of crazy was really, really cool for me, right? So, I got this new curler, by the way. I want to try it. This is the Babeless. It's an extra long, I Right now I use the Bio-Ionic, but I'm going to try this one and see if there's any difference. Probably not. I probably just think it's pretty, which I do, so it's fine. Anyway, so I liked that I didn't have to like dress up for him, and so I just thought it was really cool. So we keep talking. Meanwhile, mind you, this guy told me that he was breaking up with his friends with benefits for me, and I was like, yeah, no one's ever done anything for me, much less like break up with their friends with benefits. Like, I'm not going to give you no benefits, so I hope you don't get rid of your benefits, because you ain't getting no benefits from me. Like, you can take a hike, right? Like, here's your walking papers. So we keep talking. He's broken up with this girl, or as far as I know, he broke up with her. Like, not broke up with her, like ended their friend with benefits, whatever. And then we keep talking, and little by little, he breaks me down. Well, I end up saying, I don't want to talk to you no more. And I met this other guy who was into like a bunch of the same stuff I was, like law enforcement stuff, and like he liked to train a lot at the gun range, and like, so that was the one thing we had in common, and it was really, really cool. And he had like all these really cool, guns that I like, that I've wanted to shoot. And so like, I'm a collector, and so I have like 30, but he had a lot more than me, and I was like, this is so cool. And so I was like, this is fun. So I like started talking to him, and I just felt like he was more of like the bad boy, when I was literally just trying to find a nice guy. And so like, I get with this guy who was like a bad boy, right? So anyways, I'm talking to him, and then a month later, it didn't work out because he's obviously an idiot. Or else I would have been with him. So, it didn't work out, and my husband now saw me back on, oh my God, really? Oh, Megan, we're besties now. Oh, you're not too far from me. I'm just down in Tampa. So anyway, so he sees me back on, because I'm back on my bullshit. I'm back on the dating apps. And he says, nice to see you again. And I was like, oh, hi. Like, this is embarrassing, right? So, my dry shampoo. So anyways, so I'm talking to him again, and little by little, like, he breaks me down, and I, get to know him a little bit more. And now I'm like texting him back a little more often. I'm, letting him in a little bit. Well, then we start talking, and he starts telling me about, his best friend, and he's helping his mom with something at her house and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, you're such a liar. Like, nobody does that. Like, nobody spends that much time with their moms. And like, for 2 weeks, whenever I would talk to him, I was like, what are you up to? And he's like, oh, I'm at Lowe's. And I'm like, nobody goes to Lowe's that much. My husband does. My husband goes to Lowe's that much. Have you been to the Tampa Aquarium? Yeah, I've been there several times. My son went on a field trip there. We've been there 100,000 times. Oh, were you born in Tampa? No way. Where, like at Tampa General? That's so cool. I was born in Fort Lauderdale. Anyway, so it turns out my husband was a good guy, or I wouldn't have married him. But I never did use my resources on like to find out more about him. But what I realized was that on the podcast, like this Farmers Only episode, when you're dating online, I think a lot of people don't have not the knowledge. Like, it's not that you're stupid. It's not that we're not stupid. A lot of people don't, like, people say what you want to hear, right? And so it's just human to like believe people when they're talking to you, right? And so we had these guests on the podcast, and they were the authors of this book called Big Liars. And they actually confirmed that, like, and they're lying experts. And they actually confirmed that in general, people don't lie as much as we think that they do. But I'm a private investigator, so I think everybody's lying about everything. Like, anybody. You call me and tell me, hi, I have a flower delivery from Mackenzie. I'm going to be like, no, you don't. You're trying to find out where I live, and then you're going to come murder me. I do not believe you. And so I don't believe anything anybody says ever, never. And so it was the same thing for online, but I'm still human, and I'm still a girl who was like kind of looking for love, So anyway, so this Farmers Only episode, it starts out, this girl meets this guy on Farmers Only, which is for people like-minded that want to meet online, like that want to like do farmer shit, right? Like whatever that is. Call me you. No. I'm gonna block you, but go message my husband if you want to talk to me, and then he'll tell you no. It's fine. I've got family in Tampa. Oh my gosh, next time you come visit, you should say hi. So anyway, so she meets this guy on Farmers Only. He seems like a nice fella. And who are you to, like, how do you know whether you should trust somebody online or not? Like, how do you know? What do? You just have to go with your instinct, right? And sometimes, like, we think people are nice, and then they just turn out to be something they're not. In this case, this guy was a total dogfish. He lied about who he was, what he had, his ex, his kids. Like, he lied about everything. And so, hold on, my fingernail. fingernail is stuck in my hair. I'm gonna curl my hair, but I gotta section it by my extensions. I can't walk and chew bubblegum. Hold on. I'm trying to feel it out. Anyway, so when she meets this guy on Farmers Only, like, she thinks, oh, this guy's nice, right? Like, he's a nice fella. Turns out to be a total dogfish, lies about everything. But I just thought it was interesting because with this, do I thought I had sweat stains. I think it's just a shadow. I'm disgusting. Anyway, so, oh, Mackenzie, get it together, sister. If you're a hairdresser, I'm probably making you cringe. I make hairdressers cringe. I'm sorry. Don't worry, I'm going to use heat protectant. Don't tell your mama. Anyway, so when we talk about the Farmers Only thing, it's like that's how we're meeting people now, right? It's the way of the world is online because that's what's accessible to us. So anyways, that's how I met my husband, is online. And so when this girl was talking about her sends funds to went to join account. Wait, what? Oh, wait, since the funds went to joint account. Are you talking about the Farmers Only? He scammed her financially. Y'all have to go listen to the episodes. Oh my gosh. It's freaking, I just can't believe some of the things that, like, people will do to each other. But that was one of the questions we had on the podcast. So they get engaged, right? So her and I won't give away too much, but she's engaged to this fella, right? And at what point do you, if you're engaged to someone and they ask for money, right? They say, I want to do an investment or whatever. Do you believe them? Because now you're engaged to them. So this is another level. Like, you've trusted them enough to get engaged to them, right? Do you believe them or trust them because you're engaged to them? Or do you still say no until you're married? And even then, like, at what point do you allow someone to borrow money, or, you know, at what point do you give them money to invest in whatever it is, or for whatever reason that they're asking you for money? If she didn't have brain injury, she might have been responsible for that money also, but because of brain injury, she didn't understand what was going on. Well, and I think that at the end of episode 1, at the end of last week's episode, we learned that Harper gets knocked out by her horse, and now she has amnesia, right? So you have to listen to this week's to find out the rest. But it was a doozy. Like, it was crazy. And wait until the very end of this week's episode. Oh my God. Just wait. You'll be like, no way. No freaking way. Just wait. I can't, like, I'm not good at this. I'm someone who's, like, really bad at keeping secrets. No, I'm not bad at keeping secrets. I'm bad at, like, not sharing cool stuff. Like, if it's a secret, then, like, you know, obviously I'll keep it. But, like, I'm someone who gets someone, like, a birthday present, like, a month in advance. And then I'll be like, can I just go ahead and give it to you because you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Like, only give money if you don't want it back. That's a really good point. And that's what I've said that on the podcast too. I'm like, if you're going to loan somebody money, don't. Like, never loan money to anyone. Just give it to them. If you're going to loan someone money, don't ever ask for it back. Just give it to them, because money is it's such a tricky, oh, this one's lighter than my bio. This curling iron is a lot lighter than my bio-ionic thing. I really like that a lot. Oh, you guys, it's so much lighter. Oh, and I like the extra long barrel. Okay, I like that. Babeless has good hair tools, though. I really like this one a lot, and it's prettier. So anyways, so that was one of my main questions, was at what point during your relationship do you give It's Raining Legs? Oh my gosh, I saw that and I was like, we have an episode called It's Raining Cats and Dogfish. If you guys aren't listening to the podcast, you have to go listen to it. It's one of the top true crime category podcasts, at least on Spotify, and I think some of the other apps too, but we're managed by Spotify, so that's why I know the Spotify ones. But if you have to go listen to it. It's not murder or anything, it's just like scandal and cons, and sometimes it's pretty crazy. And sometimes the episodes are really intense, and this one involved excuse me, just a forewarning. Dying. Just a forewarning. There is in this one there was a lot. There's talks of suicide, miscarriage that was like unwanted. I mean, I don't think any miscarriage is wanted, but it was. Anyways, there's a lot of like deep topics. So you really got to be careful when you listen to our show, because it's stuff like the things that have happened to people like you would never realize could happen to anyone, and it's freaking wild. Like you would never think that people would actually do this stuff to each other. And we need forced miscarriage. Thank you. Yes, very, very sad. And it's one of those things where like you can't believe some of the things that people are capable of. I hope no hairstylists are watching, because I botch I just go all willy-nilly. Truth is stranger than fiction. That's what I'm saying. That's why some people like they'll comment, like I think it's just to be mean, but they'll comment on my PI stories and be like, that's not true, like that's a load of BS. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know what you're gonna tell you. Like I cannot make it any more clear. Like I couldn't make this up if I wanted to, so it's fine. Believe me or don't. I don't care. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, so dating online, but we had never, like, this was the farmers only thing was a first for us. Like, we've heard of Match.com, like we've heard of even what's the one, Ashley Madison, is that the one where you can like, there's a sugar daddy one, and there's one for married people, like you can date married people, like it's specifically so you can find married people to hook up with or date or whatever. And then I think is that the one? Remember the Duggars? Do you remember the family, the Duggars? It was like 28 kids and counting or something. And they had all these kids, and they were like the Christians, and they like the oldest son was accused of sexually assaulting the sisters, and then he ended up like hooking up with the girl on one of those sites or whatever. I think it was Ashley Madison, right? Or no, Lord have mercy. Is Ashley Madison, which one's the hair product? Ashley Reed? Oh, anyways, there's one of them that's like for married, you can date married people. But farmers only is obviously like for like farmers. I don't know, but I feel like, and like with our OnlyFans pimp episode, like, just because this is where it gets controversial, and a lot of people think, yeah, it is Ashley Madison. What's the one with the hair? Is it Ashley Reed? Madison Reed? Duggar boy got caught on there. It was married. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah. The Kick story. Oh my God. Yeah. That one was wild too. Anyway, so we had never had a farmers only episode. Like I don't even think, like Hannah and Molly live in LA. Like I don't even know if they knew what farmers only was. I live in a small town in like itty-bitty Plant City, Florida. So where like people don't wear shoes to the Walmart here. So like we've heard of farmers only, but I don't know if they had. But her story was just crazy. And just the way that like she was so brave in telling it, and just the ending was wild. It was crazy. Madison Reed is hair. Yeah, they're still married because I guess, I don't know. Listen, not my circus, not my monkeys, right? I don't know what to tell them, like, but not my problem, I guess. It just sucks. Like, it sucks that there's people out here that it's just like, I don't know. That's too much trauma for me. It's too crazy. Send me some of those strawberries. Didn't get to go to the festival this year. Don't you love the strawberry festival? We went, me and my friend went, we took the kids, and they had so much fun. We live, so in Plant City where I live, it's like all, like it's strawberry fields. Like everything, like every winter, everybody has to like turn off their wells and their pumps because all the strawberry farmers take all the water when it gets cold in Florida, which is like one day a year. It happens one night a day. But we do, if you go to your grocery store, if you see like Wish Farms or something, that's in Plant City. So if you look at the strawberries, look at where they're from. And like Aston Farms is here in Plant City. So go to the strawberries, you'll see. And you'll think of me. You'll be like, oh, Mackenzie said she lives by these. As big as your dang hand. They're unreal. Yes, they are. But they're good. If they're not in season, they're not as good. But when the strawberries are in season, oh my gosh. And I'm so, like, watermelon is coming back in season. Oh, for the love of the lamb. Publix has good watermelon, but like, if you get it off season, it's disgusting. It's not good. See what I mean? If you're a hairdresser, don't judge me. Okay? Just don't. Sorry. Listen, I do makeup, not hair. So don't judge me. We're just gonna whip that in all willy-nilly. It's fine. This is fine. I really like this. I really do like this curling iron. Did I undo the wrong one? Hold on. Keep your panties on. Hold on a second. I did undo the wrong one. Is it this one? Yeah. So check out the Farmers Only episode. I forgot. Hold on. Now I lost it. There we go. I'm a shit show, you guys. Like, I'm a hot mess. That's another thing I like about going live is that, you know how criminal justice... Oh my God, good for you! So you graduated? You're done? And what are we doing next? What are we doing next? Oh my God, that's so cool. Good for you. I'm so proud of you. That's so exciting. Did you just graduate? Like you just and you're like done now and you're oh, I forgot to heat protect. Hold on. I'll just do this one and then hope it doesn't fall off. Well, okay. That's the Lord saying heat protect it. Oh my God, no way. Like coming up this Friday or just this past Friday? Oh my God. That's so exciting. Tell me what you're doing after and all the things. Are you going to be a PI? SWAT team? What are you doing? Lawyer? What are you doing? I cannot do two things at once. Sorry, hold on. So that's what I was saying. So whenever I'm, that's another thing I like about being on social media, which I never thought I would do because I was like everybody told me for a while, they're like, you're really good at makeup. Like you should really like do videos and stuff and like show people. And I'm like, who's going to listen to me? But like ever since I've been on social media, everybody's like, you're so real. And I'm like, because I hated going online and seeing all these girls who are like so perfect and everything was edited just right. And they never had like a booger hanging out of their nose. And I'm like, that's not real. Like that can't be real. Like, you're not just always this perfect. And, like, I always thought they were. And now I'm like, I'm a complete shit show. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, come here. If you want to know how people really are, like, people online and influencers, and they're so cool and they're so perfect. No, they're not. Like, stop it. No, they're not. Stop. Did you see my shitting my pants story? I almost shit my pants. And I was like, people online and, like, celebrities, like, we all shit our pants the same way. Like, we're all the same. We're all the same. Well, I like this one. I don't think it's much different than the Bio-Ionic, but it's definitely lighter. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit lighter, but I don't think it's like anything like super extra. But of course, I have to try a new hair tool that's iridescent and pretty because I'm obsessed with packaging. I think that's the one thing that I hate about Saint is that like they're so basic and so like it's gray and it's black and it's white and it's sleek and I'm like, can we have some pink? I want some pink. That's why I was like surprised when they came out with the colors that they did last year for the summer palettes, like the orange and the green and the yellow. And they come out with some pretty colors, but it's always like simple and basic. And I'm like, can we get some neon up in here? I want some pink and purple. But it's fine. But that's the one thing that I do not like about Saint is that it's all just so basic. Do you actually record Dating Text on Mondays or is it just released? It's just released on Mondays. So we actually record so we'll record maybe like on Wednesday and then we just like whenever we have a guest on, we just kind of schedule with them like when they're available to chat. And so whatever day or time that is, we'll connect with them. And then on Fridays, we usually get together and record the intro to the episode and the outro. And that's when we record like all the ads. So whenever you hear the ads for like the Miracle Made sheets or like the BetterHelp or the food things that the Factor and like all the different advertisers that we have, we usually record those on Fridays. So whenever you see us like posting like a story or something we're recording, it's usually the week before. Sometimes it's a couple weeks before, and like we bank some episodes, so we don't ever really. I take that back. We do record sometimes on Monday, but it's never the same Monday that the episode comes out. And so sometimes when you hear us say, so today it's Monday, it's just because we know it's coming out on Monday, and so it could be like Thursday, but it's for the intro. Hollywood is so strange. I don't know how to do, like, Hannah and Molly so Hannah's my co-host on The Dating Detectives. She's a stand-up comedian and, really witty, really charming. And then Molly is the producer, and Molly was in reality TV. Message you for a sheet code. Yes. Yeah, totally. You can message me. I'm going to screenshot this just in case I don't get your message, and then I'll message you. But, yeah, so this Miracle Made sheets, and they really do work well. And by the way, did you guys see my stories about the mattress? So I got a new bed, and it was really, really hot. Like, I've never sweated when I sleep. Like, there's ice running through my veins. Like, I am cold all the time, and I was sweating when I got my new bed, and I didn't like the mattress protector that I got with my bed. And so you guys recommended the bamboo, and so I got bamboo. I haven't sweat one night since. Like, that's good recommendation. I'm so glad you guys came through. Oh, that's another thing I was saying too. Earlier I was saying how, like, being on social media, I never ever thought I would be, but I didn't want to show up on social media because I was like, people are going to make fun of me because I'm fat. And they did. Like, people did make, like, not a lot. Like, the very first time I said, like, the next person who makes fun of me for being fat, I'm going to look you up, and I'm going to find out who this person is that feels brave enough to say these things. And it's always someone that's, like, not worth my time, obviously. Though they weren't worth my time to begin with. But anyway, so as soon as I said that, then people stopped saying they were like, well, I don't want her to look me up. So, because people have something to hide. Anyways, you're beautiful people update. Angela, it's true. Thank you, my friend. But they do. Like, I was like, people are going to say mean things, and they really, really do. Like, people have no couth. Like, they have no, like, who are these people's mamas? Like, I just want to meet these people's parents and be like, what's going on over there? Anyway, so because I got on social media, and people started telling me, like, oh, thank you for showing up. Like, you've helped me find confidence, or you kind of saying things out loud that other people think. I've always gotten in trouble for that. Like, I've always gotten in trouble for saying the mean thing, but it's like, oh my God, Mackenzie, I can't believe you said that. And I'm like, what? Everybody else is thinking it, but you can't, like, that's not an excuse, right? Like, you're not allowed to say the things. So, like, if there's, like, I remember my brother was in the military, and he had come home for one, like, weekend or something, and we were at my mom's, and so we didn't get to see my brother very much. And he had grilled chicken. He's like, I'm gonna come, and I'm gonna make you guys some chicken. I'm gonna make dinner for you guys. And we're like, all right. Well, he didn't cook it all the way through, right? And so we're sitting at the table, and my brother's been, at war, like, literally in Iraq, like, his friends getting blown up, like, right in front of him, like, all of these awful things, right? Like the awful thing, like, it was terrible, but we were just happy to see him. Like, we were happy to have him home, but the chicken wasn't freaking cooked, and I wasn't about to eat it, right? And so, like, my mom and I looked at each other, and she was just like, don't say anything. And I was like, Mike, you forgot to cook mine. Like, because he's my brother, and I'm allowed to be, like, an asshole to him, because, like, that's what brother and sisters do. And so I was like, Mike, it's not cooked. And she was like, I cannot believe you said that to him. Like he's, he's only here for a short while. I'm just glad that he was home. Like, you shouldn't have said that to him. And I'm like, what? Like, I wasn't going to eat bloody freaking chicken legs. That's disgusting. Like, I'm not trying to die. And so, like, I'm trying to get salmonella or whatever it's called. Anyways, like, I'm the one who says, hey, Mike, this isn't good. Everybody else is thinking it. Nobody else is eating their chicken, but I'm the asshole because I said it out loud. Anyways, I've always gotten in trouble for my mouth. And now it's like, excuse me, I got that protein shake. Now I say things out loud, and people are like, thank you for saying it out loud. And my mom's like, it's so good that your loud mouth is coming in handy. I'm like, thanks, Mom, for your support. She supports me a lot. That's the one thing I got in trouble for in school, was, like, talking. As you can imagine. What is this? I keep having to log in and out this morning, but can I DM the Marissa? Totally. Send it over to our DM for sure. You can DM me also if you want, but yeah, send it to the podcast Instagram, the Dating Detectives podcast, or is it Dating Detectives podcast? Just DM us. My best friend's stepdad and my dad are used to work together. My dad has said what everyone else was thinking out loud, and she's never allowed at my house. That's what I'm saying. And like, I was always like, my brother was always the one to pick on me. Like, he would be like, "You're stupid and you're fat and you're ugly and you're this," and then I'd be like, "Get away from me," or like he would touch me and I'd be like, "Don't touch me," and he'd be like, "Not touching you, not touching you, not touching you," and I'd be like, "Mike, stop, get off me." And because everyone heard me, like, I was the one who got in trouble, like, "Oh my God, Mackenzie, like, you're so loud and you're so rude," and I was like, "But he's touching me," and they're like, "Yeah, but he's," you know, and nobody ever believed that like he was tormenting me. I was just the one with the loud mouth, and so the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So I was a squeaky wheel. I was always getting in trouble because it's my mouth, but he was still like bothering me. Anyways, and so it makes sense now why Molly was like, "Hey, do you want a podcast? Because you talk a lot." Like, "Yeah, girl. Yeah, give me a podcast. Sure. Yeah." And then she did, and I was like, "No way." I like this curling iron. Okay, I'm not mad at it. I bet I missed some spots back here. I really hope there's no hairdressers watching this because they're going to be like, "Girl, please stop." No, I think I got it all. I did. I think I got it all. Hold on. I got to look in the mirror. I got to look in the mirror. I think I got it all. Most of it. Did I get most of it? That's the hardest thing. So I part by my extensions. So I do like one row of extensions and then I like separate that and then I do the next row, and that's how I curl my hair, and then I brush them out, and everybody freaking loses their minds. Like, they riot. They're like, "Don't brush out the curls." And I'm like, "I do what I want." Have you lost a lot of hair? Brittany, I did. I did lose a lot of hair when I had surgery, and as I'm losing weight, I'm still losing hair. But I did notice this morning, actually, I had some hair, a lot of growth. So there's some new growth. I've been taking my vitamins and just like staying on top of all of that stuff, and I do notice there is more growth. So I think it is coming back, but the extensions help. Like, they help me feel like my hair is a little bit more volumized, so it's better. Thank you. I did. I almost forgot. I almost had forgetted, but oh, by the way, so today is Makeover Monday, and I'm posting some before and afters. You'll have to check them out. You'll be like, "No freaking way." Like, from my weight loss, my old makeup to now, and like just a lot of, you'll be really inspired. Y'all, if there's any conversations that I started and did not finish, I'm so sorry. My ADHD is so bad. Like, I have squirrel brain to the max. My kids got me a new palette for Mother's Day, but not under my account. How can you get credit for it? Do you know the artist they ordered under? Or was it like under corporate? Because I can help with all of that stuff. I can help. I just need to know what Mike did about nothing. He was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't know what to tell you." Because he's like a dude, and dudes are like so easygoing. Like, guys aren't like, he's not going to pout about it. Like, I would still be crying about it. Like, I would still be like, "You didn't like my chicken that one day," but he was like, "All right, I don't know what to tell you." Corporate. Will you send me the information? I really appreciate your thoughtfulness, but I do want to make sure that you're connected to an artist, only because that way you get the customer service that you need, and not that you wouldn't with corporate, but I just feel like it's that one-on-one connection is really important. But see, these curls are really pretty. I like the way these turn out. And then when I brush them out, they're really pretty too. My brother's cool, but he's like, he does not, like, he's not someone who's like, I'm really dramatic and my brother isn't. And that, oh, okay, well, That's the one thing that makes us like really different, is that I'm super dramatic and he's really not. But as we get older, like we're getting a little bit closer, and like we both have boys. Like he has 2 boys, I have 1 boy, and so we connect on that. So we're connecting a little bit more now. But I was always, and I'm a little bit less dramatic now. Like I've matured or whatever. And he was always in the military, so he was always gone, deployed. He was in, Iraq, and then he was in like Africa, for a year, and then like, so he's always been gone. He just retired from the military like last year, and now he's just a firefighter EMT for the Cape Canaveral Space Force Center. So like where they have SpaceX and like the Space Force and all that stuff. That's where he works now. But he's cool. Like his wife is cool. My nephews are cool. Now we're connecting. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that thoughtfulness. Yeah, just DM it to me, and I'll make sure to get you. I'll make sure to connect you under me so that I can make sure to follow up, and then if you have like returns and stuff like that. There was a lot, you guys. I've told people before, I'm like, if you want to buy makeup for someone else, like for Mother's Day, I was like, listen, we need to secretly color match your mom. So many people let me secretly color match their mom. And so yesterday I got so many messages like, oh, my mom opened her makeup and she loves it. And a lot of people got there, like the match was perfect, even though we secretly color matched. So like, I'm really good at color matching. So if you have seen the makeup that I use and you want to get color matched, trust my color match, because I'm pretty good at it. It's really fun too, especially when you do the secret ones. I could do it for Christmas a lot, and then birthdays and stuff like that. But this Mother's Day, I had a lot of people that wanted to get it for their moms, and so that was really, really fun. It was so fun. I wish I could. I just need somebody to come do my hair every day. I'm sorry, there's so many hairdressers that probably watch me and just, I can't imagine the cringing you guys must be doing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There was a hairdresser that actually wrote into the podcast to complain about how I I talk about hair products, but I sell makeup, so I shouldn't be talking about hair products. And I'm like, first of all, this is a podcast for like con men and like scandal and stuff and private investigation stuff. And you're complaining about the fact that I talk about hair when I should be doing makeup, like kind of stay in your lane type of thing. So that was fun. And I don't know, people get mad for dumb stuff. So, like, I'm sorry, but also, I don't know what to tell you. See what I mean? Like, I do dumb crap like this. Like, I be missing small sections. I really do think I like this curler better than the Bio-Ionic. Like, it's so much lighter. If you get a color match, don't do what I did and forget to check the junk box. I hate that it comes spam. So what happens is I use because of the volume, like the number of color matches I get, I use a program that helps me to so when I do my color matching, I select the buttons and then it pre-fills like this really nice email that I send out, right? But because it's an email that's not coming from like it comes from like a whatever program this is, like email or whatever. And sometimes it gets recognized as spam. And I hate that, but I don't know how to fix it. So definitely check your spam. But I send a text too. And then you can like text me and be like, hey, did I get my color match? You need a master's degree to speak on hair. Duh. I have a master's degree in mind your own business. Except I don't, because I'm a PI. Obviously, I don't mind my own business. I'm just nervous that I missed some. Someone's going to be like, this hair is straight. I usually make my husband come in here and be like, is any of this straight? And he's like, no. And there's like 65 pieces of like straight. Because he's a boy and boys aren't really good at that stuff sometimes. Anyways, so yeah, if you're just joining, I was just talking about the podcast and the new episode, so you have to go listen to it. It's about a woman who met her guy on Farmers Only, and of course, if it's on my podcast, it's never good. Never turns out good. Like the guy, the woman who met the guy overseas, and like they fell in love, and he's like, you know, from another country, and then that was like the whole first part was like, oh, this is great, like why are they on the podcast? And then you get to the second part and you're like, oh, I get it now. Bods and bikes. I thought I said bobs and bikes, and so I thought that was funny because in those mail-in brides, your screen name says bods and bikes, but I thought it said bobs and bikes because I can't read. And it was funny because whenever, like in the PI world, we call bobs, like when you go into like a kind of sketchy neighborhoods, a lot of times you'll have some, like where there's a lot of drugs or like a lot of trap houses, you'll find people riding around on bicycles, and they're like the lookout, like for the neighborhood. And so we call them Bob. We call them burglar on a bike. And because they're usually, like, these are people who usually have criminal records. And they're on a bike doing the lookout thing to make sure there's no, like, cops in the area. Anyways, we call them Bob's burglar on a bike. And so it said Bods and bicycles. And I was like, does that say Bobs and bicycles? And I thought it was funny. Huh? Oh, thank you. What's on your butt? Probably dirt. Anyway, so yeah, that's just all. I'm going to brush this. I'm going to let this cool, and then I'm going to brush it out. But anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me this morning. We were supposed to do I got on a little bit early because I was supposed to do a podcast recording, but the guest canceled. So I was able to stay on and hang a little bit longer. So it came across as a canceled for today. So anyways, if you want to get color match for this makeup that I sell, just text me or like send a letter, birthday card. I don't know. My birthday is July 4th, so if you want to send me a birthday card, I'm accepting presents. That's my love language. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be 40. I'm gonna be 40 this year, so I'm a little. I don't know. I like it. Like, I'm excited about it. But anyways, get this makeup that I use. It's called Saint. It's a customized cream compact, and I can help you customize your own palette. There's like different sizes and colors, and just comment match or text me at the number that I pinned, and I'll text you back and be like, hey girl. So get a color match. And then also I really do like this. I think I'm going to post about this one because I use the Bio Ionic, and this one's a lot lighter, and I don't know. I guess that is, I don't know. I think it's pretty. We'll see what happens when I brush it out. Anyway, so I'm going to go do other work now, and I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for hanging out with me on Monday. Go listen to the Farmers Only episode on the podcast, and it's called The Dating Detective, so go listen, and I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Bye.